Daniels for her alleged hush money payments.
Fox's Eric Shawn at State Supreme Court. The day began with another contempt of court ruling from the judge, fining the former president $1,000 for a 10th gag order violation and repeating a warning that jail is a possibility for continued violations. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Strong storms headed this way, mostly cloudy, 75 degrees downtown. If radar is clear, that could change by tomorrow. Low of 63 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:02. Tuesday and Wednesday, you could see all types of severe weather threats.
For tomorrow, right now, we have a slight risk, which is that level 2 out of 5. Most of that is because we're kind of uncertain on where the storms are going to initiate tomorrow.
Aaron Updike with the National Weather Service says he's more confident that southern and central Indiana will be hit by severe weather Wednesday. A man was killed while doing yard work at his home in Indy this weekend. Ryan Hedrick reports the police caught the guy they think hit him.
On Monday, the Marion County Coroner's Office identified Mark Brown as the victim of a fatal hit and run. Indy police say Brown was trimming his weeds on Sunday in his yard when he was hit by a car being driven by Ariel Treminio Lopez. Despite efforts to save him, Brown died at the hospital. Treminio Lopez faces charges of leaving the scene of an accident causing serious bodily injury. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A 16-year-old boy was arrested Sunday after he and another teenager were involved in an armed carjacking north of downtown. IMPD officers spoke with a couple of people who said their car was stolen by two teenagers with guns. Police say they found that stolen car near 30th and Illinois streets. They tried to get away but crashed. The second teenager was able to run away, say police. A man who was stabbed in Edinburgh this morning has been identified. John Herrick explains.
The Johnson County coroner says the victim was Michael Gene Adair. He was 48 years old. Police believe Adair was stabbed on East State Road 252 near US 31. He died at the scene. A person of interest has been detained, and an autopsy for Adair is scheduled for Wednesday. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The city of Indianapolis appears to be working with the Indy 11 on a new stadium, but Gary Dick with Inside Indiana Business explains why things didn't work out.
Apparently, at some point late in the negotiations or the talks, the demand was made by the city for Osimir to guarantee an MLS team, which he certainly can't do at this point.
Talking with WIBC's Tony Katz about Indy 11 owner Özil Özdemir, Mayor Joe Hogsett announced last month his plans to pitch to the MLS to add a team in Indianapolis. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 3:04.
Hoosiers have a choice on who they send to Washington and deserve to know the facts before voting. Jefferson Shreve caves to the radical left on our values and is a never-Trump moderate. Jamison Carrier, well, he filed for bankruptcy, owing thousands in tax liens, claims his primary residence is in Florida, voted there this last election. I'm Mike Speedy, and I approve this message. By the grace of God, I beat cancer, and with your help, we can beat these lying politicians and save America.
Mike Speedy is the only candidate who is both endorsed by Indiana Right to Life and is A+ rated by the NRA. Mike Speedy endorses President Trump and will join him to fix our border once and for all. Mike Speedy will fight the woke leftists to guarantee life and liberty. Speedy has a track record of fighting and winning. Vote Republican Mike Speedy in Indiana's 6th Congressional on or before May 7th. Paid for by Mike Speedy for Congress.
I'm Mike Speedy. I'm running for Congress, and I approve this message.
The traffic on the 5 set 3:05. Good afternoon, Matt Bear.
What's up, Harrison? Looking at eastbound 465 slow, Keystone Avenue over to Allisonville Road. Northbound 37's jammed, Epler to 465. It's a construction zone. And a reminder, more effective during morning rush, but southbound Capitol Avenue is closed between 16th and 13th Street until, give or take a little bit, Friday, May 17th. It's because of unexpected utility work with hospital construction, and Capitol Avenue, of course, that's southbound one way. Traffic sponsored by Mr. Quick Home Services. Attention any homeowners, is your cooling system ready for the heat? Don't sweat it. Mr. Quick Home Services has you covered with their special $89 cooling tune-up offer. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
A spotty shower or thunderstorm possible this afternoon. We'll see highs near 73. A few showers overnight with lows near 63. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it!
Okay, so terrorist organization Hamas says it has accepted a Qatari and Egyptian ceasefire proposal, though Israeli officials have yet to release a statement. And the mention of hostages was nowhere in sight.
You know why the Israelis may be a little leery about this ceasefire promise from Hamas? Because on October 7th, when those lunatics started paratrooping in, murdering concert goers, and then going through the neighborhoods and brutalizing families, killing children, raping women, killing the men, there was a ceasefire in place then, too.
Yeah. Israel should respond by saying, hey, congratulations on your ceasefire with Qatar and Egypt. We're still going into Rafah.
Right.
To wipe out the rest of you. So we'll keep you updated on that development.
Earlier today in the hush money trial. I know how much you love it when it's called that, Nigel.
Yeah, because she signed a non-disclosure agreement. A legal document saying, hey, keep your yap shut about this. And she chose to break that. And not only that, she was sued for defamation.
She being Stormy Daniels.
She sued Trump for defamation. She lost the case. She owes him hundreds of thousands of dollars because of the legal fees. But that's neither here nor there.
So it's been dubbed the hush money trial in New York. And earlier today, the judge found that Donald Trump violated another gag order, and this time threatened him with jail time. Quote, as much as I don't want to impose a jail sanction, I want you to understand that I will if necessary.
He did fine Trump $1,000. He has that in the bottom of his shoe.
Donald Trump tips the waitress at Chili's that.
I think it's like probably Obi-Wan Kenobi to Darth Vader. You send me to jail, I should become more powerful than you could possibly imagine.
We talked about that last week. The minute, if it ever happens, the minute he steps inside of a jail cell, the election is over. Like Vince Carter, after that slam dunk contest, looking at the camera and saying, over. It's over. That is going to be this election if they put him in jail.
I can't imagine the logistics of putting a current nominee for president, the presumptive Republican nominee for president, behind bars, who was previously president, who has Secret Service protection. How can they guarantee his safety in jail behind bars? I don't even see a scenario where the Secret Service, did I say Selective Service earlier? I meant Secret Service. I don't see a scenario where they can let that happen.
Well, maybe if they put their best people and they have wall-to-wall surveillance around him like they did Jeffrey Epstein, everything's going to be just fine.
So you know exactly what I'm talking about then.
Right. This was the 10th time that Donald Trump has violated the gag order, and the judge has found him in contempt.
Imagine incarcerate. You talk about a threat to democracy. Oh, Trump's a threat to democracy. We'll never have an election ever again if he's elected president. I'm going to lose my job as a journalist if Trump is elected.
There won't be a White House Correspondents' Dinner, Nige. What are we going to do?
You talk about a threat to democracy. Throwing a former president in jail, a current nominated, the presumptive nominee for the Republican Party, the front runner, in jail, effectively silencing him. That's a threat to democracy. That's crazy. I'd love to. Would you like to see him try it? The judge I'm talking about? I'd love to see him try it. Or would you be like, you better not do this?
I think even hardcore Democrats who hate Donald Trump and would love to see him behind bars, they understand the ramifications of it, right? The far left folks understand. They may hate Donald Trump, but they love power more, and they will all be fired. It will be a landslide election if they lock up Donald Trump, because that is going to fire up a base that they have never seen before. I don't think it's going to happen. I could be wrong, but I don't believe that's going to happen. It is election eve tonight. We've got Pacers in action. We've got action at the Motor Speedway this weekend. It's an awesome time to be here in Indy. Anything on the spread for the Pacers tonight, Nige?
Let me see. Oh, not personally, no. My account's dry right now. after the golf, of course, we're back down to zero. But,
Knicks are the favorite for tonight. I've got a little action. I've got the first half over. I'm hoping there's some points. I'm over 108 in the first half, Pacers and Knicks. The Knicks rebound really well, and the Pacers don't rebound very well. So if they could just close that gap a little bit, I think the Pacers got a shot, man.
Pacers are currently 5.5-point dogs.
Okay, so it's gone down. It was at 6.5. Now it's down a little bit. So that tells me there's some Pacer money coming in.
Oh, I would love to get one. As a Pacer fan, I would love to steal one.
It just feels right, though, doesn't it?
Man. Yeah.
Like the weather's kind of made a turn. It's nice outside. It's May. We've got action at the Speedway, and there's a high-profile playoff series between the Pacers and Knicks. This is awesome. Enjoy this, man, and I hope we can steal one of those first couple games up at the Garden. You had a busy weekend. You went downtown, Nige, to that massive George Strait, Chris Stapleton concert.
Screw the Rev thing. I wanted to go in my assless chaps to George Strait, listen to country music.
I believe all chaps are assless.
Yeah, somebody pointed that out to me on Facebook. I know this. I understand.
You've upset the chaps community.
Yeah, no, I went with, look, I know I realize he's an icon, and he still got it, even at 71 years old, but I went with, like, diehard fans, including my wife, who spent, like, $150 on a George Strait jean jacket.
She got a George Strait jean jacket?
Yeah.
Does it say pure country on it?
It's got a map. It's got the state of Texas on the back with George Strait's signature across it.
All right.
And yeah, man, he still got it. It's hard to. Chris Stapleton opened up for him, and
he's a headliner in his own right.
Yeah, he is. And like, kind of nobody was standing for him. It was like no mention of Chris Stapleton in the arena at all. So it's
he sang at a Super Bowl before. I think he did like the national anthem.
And people were just kind of waiting around, waiting for George Strait to get on stage.
Was it an older crowd predominantly?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, but I think there were generations. Sitting next to me was a dad and his two sons. So, I mean, I understand George Strait's an icon, but my wife celebrates his entire catalog.
So what was the biggest response from the crowd? All my exes live in Texas, the Firemen.
We took off after Troubadour, which is like his 26th song, and then he I can't remember if he did another one after that, and then the encore was All My Exes Live in Texas.
Wait, you left before the encore?
Yeah, we were like it was midnight, and her cowboy boots were killing her. She was wearing cowboy boots that she wears once a year, so he had to. The Cowboy Rides Away was his encore song.
Okay.
So, and he's got such a library, man. I mean, there's a lot of stuff he didn't sing. Like, I was surprised he didn't sing "Cross My Heart" from the Pure Country soundtrack.
Oh yeah, big ballad. I Cross My Heart. A lot of ballads George Strait has. Did he play a lot of ballads? Because I got to be honest, when I go to a show and if I know the artist has good ballads, I'd be fine with those not being performed. I want to rock. I want to have fun.
It was a good mix. It was a decent mix. I think it was more upbeat, actually.
Packed house?
I mean, Check Yes or No is like the 5th song that he sang. I feel like that's the one everybody knows. But that's what was popular when I was a country music DJ back in the mid-90s was Check Yes or No. Oh, packed? Are you kidding me? I mean, it had to have been sold out.
And this was at Lucas Oil.
And the floor was full. I don't know, like did they have big screens back in the 70s when at these arena shows? Because we were sitting like effectively like on the 20-yard line on the side, and the stage was at the opposite end of the stadium. I could barely see. They looked like ants on stage. I had to watch the big screen the whole time. And wall to wall, nosebleeds packed. It was pretty incredible. And kudos to Lucas Oil for facilitating that. I didn't have like any special seats or anything, but I didn't have to wait for a beer. I didn't have to wait to pee.
Did it sound good with the acoustics?
It sounded really good. Yeah.
Awesome.
You still got it, man.
Still got it.
The King of Country still got it.
Matt Baer still got it. He's got to look at the roads.
All right, fellas, looking at the east side, southbound 465 slowing after Penn Pike down to I-70. Also, eastbound 465 a little bit slow before Allisonville Road, and southbound 65 drags just an inch coming in to the north split from West Street. Traffic sponsored by Mr. Quick Home Services. Attention, Indy homeowners. Is your cooling system ready for the heat? Don't sweat it. Mr. Quick Home Services has you covered with their special $89 cooling tune-up offer. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And forgot one thing. He does have, George Strait has like this pro-law enforcement song called The Weight of the Badge. And in the background was a montage of local first it's a pro-law enforcement, pro-first responders type of song. And they had, indie specific pictures of montages coming back and forth on the big screen behind them. And man, when they showed Brianne Leith, I mean, not a dry eye, including mine in the house. Ooh,
wow, that's awesome. That's cool that he did that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. 76 right now at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. Jump on the YouTube chat. It's streaming on YouTube. Look for the WIBC channel. We've got 2 in-studio cameras. We'll turn it around to focus on Guy Relford here in about 15 minutes for Monday Gun Day. And coming up a little bit after 5 o'clock, Vivek Ramaswamy slated to call in and join us. Looking forward to that after 5. Coming up next, though, if you missed any highlights of the roast of Tom Brady last night, oh, man, this was pretty good. I've got highlights for you next.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
When it comes to HVAC, I only use American Standard equipment. I only use American Standard dealers. And it's not just my HVAC. It's for any plumbing issues I might have. In fact, B&W came out and cleaned up a little flood I had in my basement. And they also put in my new air conditioner as well. Here's Hammer to tell you more about B&W.
Make some noise for B&W Plumbing, HVAC, and Electrical. They're doing things in Speedway, but they also help out around the surrounding areas. Spring means unpredictable weather. So, is your AC ready to beat the heat? B&W's dedicated team will ensure your cooling system is in top shape. And when those chilly nights return, your heating services will keep you cozy. Go to bplusw.com/radio to schedule your appointment today. Visit bplusw.com/radio or just call 317-243-3581. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you. American Standard Heating and Air, built to a higher standard.
President Trump knows if you need backup to get a job done, you need a fighter. That's why President Trump is endorsing proven conservative combat veteran Jim Baird. Baird served our nation in the United States Army and was awarded the Purple Heart and Bronze with Valor Star. And when Baird got home, he didn't stop serving us. Jim Baird worked as a farmer and small business owner, creating jobs and growing our economy. Then Baird served Indiana as a state representative where he fought to safeguard our community. Now Baird is serving Hoosiers in Congress and will partner with President Trump to secure our border, build the wall, deport criminal illegal aliens, curb inflation, cut government spending, defend our God-given Second Amendment rights, and defeat the radical left. Help send President Trump the backup he needs to drain the swamp. Send Trump-endorsed conservative combat veteran Jim Baird for Congress.
I'm Jim Baird, and I approve this message. Paid for by elect Jim Baird for Congress.
Chapters of this story take a whole month to tell. This is May. It starts with twists and turns on the IMS road course for the Sancio Grand Prix. Then PPG presents Armed Forces Indy 500 qualifying in the fight for the pole position. May continues with Indy's biggest party, Miller Lite Car Day. And all roads lead to the 108th running of the Indianapolis 500 presented by Gamebridge. May is yours. May is ours. This is May. Buy now and save. Get tickets at IMS.com.
LD Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest. Life is busy enough without plumbing problems. That's why you need an expert to fix it right the first time. Plumbing may not be pretty, but we're pretty darn good at it. And we'll always give you honest advice at a fair price. That's the LD Smith Plumbing Promise. Call today for $50 off any plumbing repair, big or small.
LD Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest.
When you use Bounce dryer sheets and your clothes look amazing, it's the sheet. Less static in your life? Yeah, it's the sheet. Smelling fresher than ever? It's the sheet. Oh, so soft fabric? Ooh la la. It's the sheet. Less wrinkles on your clothes? You know it's the sheet. Bounce dryer sheets. More freshness, more softness. Less static, less wrinkles. It's the sheet.
When it comes to your well, preventive maintenance is the key to reliable water. Right now, C&J is offering a comprehensive bacteria test for only $125, so you'll know if your well water is safe. But wait, there's more. For only $75 more, you can combine the bacteria test with C&J's annual 6-point inspection for only $200. Wow! If it's been a while since you've cleaned the well, you can save $500 on that too. C&J Well Company, they're local, they're exceptional, they're affordable. 317-852-WELL.
With a low fixed rate on Lake City Bank's home equity line of credit, you can use money for expenses now or when you need it later. Learn more at lakecitybank.com. Call 888-522-2265 or visit a branch near you. Subject to credit approval and equal housing lender.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by B&W Plumbing, HVAC, and Electrical, your American Standard air dealer.
Hot air. So hot in here. So hot air.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
But you won't be forgotten. You'll always be remembered as Eli Manning's bitch.
That was a clip from the roast of Tom Brady last night, live on Netflix. Ron Burgundy, Will Ferrell's character from the Anchorman movies, was roasting right there, which was pretty good. I didn't get a chance to see any of it. Our house went dark early last night, man. We were all
still recovering from the big concert.
The weekend, yeah. So you'll have to fill me in, man. Was it good?
It was long. It was 3 hours long.
But was it funny? Was it worth the 3 hours?
No. But
wow.
The funny parts were so funny that I was like crying laughing.
Okay.
But then some of the roasters, there were too many roasters, and the comedians were really good. But like Tom Brady's teammates, with the exception of Julian Edelman, they were all bad. And Ben Affleck, I don't know what was wrong with him. Maybe he was drinking. I don't know. He was horrible. Kim Kardashian, horrible, booed off the stage.
Are you serious?
But Kevin Hart was the host, and he set the tone early on. And a big running joke throughout the night was the fact that Giselle, Tom Brady's ex-wife, slept with her jiu-jitsu instructor. And that was kind of a running joke throughout the evening. Here's Kevin Hart.
Giselle said, "You retire or we're done." That's what she said to you, Tom. You retire or we're done. Let me tell you something. When you got a chance to go 8 and 9 and all it will cost you is your wife and your kids, you got to do what the you got to do. Do you understand me? You got to do it. The world knows that you left Bill Belichick high and dry, man. You left him, and then you went to Tampa, and you won a championship. You left Bill Belichick with Mac Jones. Oh, you f***ing good. You did. You did, Tom. You f***ed your coach. But let me tell you something, people. Let me tell you something. That's what you got to do to maintain your happiness. You understand? You sometimes got to f*** your coach. You know who else f***ed their coach? Giselle. She f***ed that karate man.
That's brutal.
Listen, what?
Wow. Wasn't Belichick on the dais there, too?
Yeah, he was there. He had a few moments, but it was okay. To me, the star of the show, from the minute she grabbed a microphone until she was done, was comedian Nikki Glazer.
You have 7 rings. Well, 8 now that Giselle gave hers back, but...
Tom, the only thing dumber than you saying yes to this roast was when you said, "Hey, babe, you should try jujitsu." I think that's gotta suck. Dude. How much would it suck for Tom? Oh my God, just knowing your ex-wife's new boyfriend can beat your ass while hers. That's gotta be terrible.
She was so good.
Man.
And this thing was raunchy. I mean, this was a hard R.
A lot of beeps in here.
There was one person that kept it clean. Peyton Manning.
Okay.
It is great to be with a bunch of people sitting around talking smack about Tom Brady, or as we call that in the Manning family, Thanksgiving. One thing that Tom and I definitely have in common, though, is our love of the game of golf. And listen, not to brag, we're both pretty good players. My handicap is a 6.4, while Tom's handicap is blowing leads in the Super Bowl to my brother Eli.
Pretty strong. Tom Brady did get a chance to respond.
Peyton, I know sometimes you live in Denver and sometimes you live in Louisiana, but you'll always live in my shadow.
Oh, no.
That's pretty strong.
That is very strong.
He gave a little zinger to his former coach, Bill Belichick.
And now, for the real reason y'all here, Coach Bill Belichick. I've been out of the game for a minute, so I'm curious. How many Super Bowl rings have you won since I left? Maybe it's not just the guy on the sideline. When I go to the Indy 500, I don't ask the winning driver, hey, who gassed up your car?
I love
it. Indy 500 got a shout out last night. Dana White from the UFC, I guess he was in New York for some big event, flew cross country to be there, and they only gave him 60 seconds.
Okay.
This is not my thing, so I'm going to keep this short like Gronk's bus. Actually, let me get into this real quick. It pisses me off. I flew all the way out here, and you guys give me 60 seconds. My name is Dana. Is that not trans enough for you liberal fucks?
UFC's Dana White.
Wow.
Tony Hinchcliffe is a comedian.
Yeah, he's funny.
And he kind of was just roasting all the other roasters.
Everyone's up here talking about what a big winner Tom is, but let me tell you, Tom is afraid of the Giants, which is why Kevin Hart is hosting tonight.
He's 5'2".
Yeah. It's true. All night, he's been using the stool that Aaron Hernandez kicked out from under himself. Yeah. So many great quarterbacks up here. You know who doesn't pass? Kevin Hart on any movie he's offered.
Wow, that Aaron Hernandez joke.
There's a couple of those.
Woo.
And maybe this is something, maybe it's not. Tom Brady basically admitted to Deflategate.
Remember Deflategate? The NFL spent $20 million and found that it was more probable than not that I was generally aware that someone may have deflated my footballs. You could have just given me the $20 million and I would just told you I fucking did it.
That was Tom Brady last night. Had to hit the dump button there.
Forget to bleep something out there, Allison?
Maybe. If you want to watch it on Netflix, though, like, again, fast forward all of the celebrities, really.
Okay.
And just go for the comedians.
Okay.
3 hours is a little long. But, oh, my goodness,
Those are
some of the things they were saying to that guy, unbelievable. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Get ready for storm season because you know as well as I do, storms in Indiana can be fierce and they can come out of nowhere. So don't wait for a leak to have your roof inspected. Have peace of mind about your roof being able to handle any storm. Moss Roofing, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com provides free inspections and can spot potential issues before they turn into costly repairs. Whether you're looking for a siding replacement after a strong wind or a roof replacement after a hailstorm, Moss Roofing has options that fit any budget. Just ask Moss Roofing about their payment plans. No matter your situation, Moss Roofing has you covered with a job done right every single time. I love that. That's very funny. Contact Moss Roofing today. 317-747-3665. 317-747-3665. Tell them Tony Cat sent you. Moss Roofing, 747-3665 or online at Moss, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com.
She isn't working for us, so who is Victoria Spartz working for in Congress? Victoria Spartz said she'd fight the radical left, but spoke in defense of the squad's Ilhan Omar and refused to officially condemn Rashida Tlaib after her hateful, anti-Semitic statements. While there's an invasion on our southern border, Spartz votes to send $40 billion of our tax dollars to Ukraine. Victoria Spartz also says she stands with President Trump. Truth is, Spartz stated it's irrelevant who the president is and helps the Biden administration pass their agenda. Chuck Goodrich is an America First conservative. Chuck built a business that hires and builds American, and Chuck voted to end sanctuary cities. Chuck puts our national defense first by banning any Chinese presence near our military and National Guard bases. Chuck Goodrich fights for our values, voting to protect female sports and keep biological males from competing against young women in Indiana. Vote Chuck Goodrich for Congress. Paid for by Go With Chuck Goodrich.
I'm Chuck Goodrich, a candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Hey, it's Rob from my friends at the Bath Authority. If your bath or shower is old, outdated, has mold and mildew, or broken tiles, you gotta call the Bath Authority. The Bath Authority provides the highest quality bathroom remodeling products along with a world-class customer experience. What that means to you is your project will be low maintenance, resistant to mold and mildew, easy to clean, and last for decades. The Bath Authority does it all. Walk-in tubs, replacement showers, tub-to-shower conversions, and more. And listen to this incredible deal going on at the Bath Authority. Call today, 317-532-5711, and get $1,500 off a new shower or bath, plus 36 months of interest-free financing. That's right, 317-532-5711, and you get $1,500 off a new shower or bath, plus 36 months of interest-free financing. Restrictions apply. TheBathAuthority.com, TheBathAuthority.com, a better bath awaits.
Building a better future for Hoosiers is going to take an outsider. Brad Chambers is the only candidate for governor who's not a career politician. And only Brad Chambers built a national business from nothing. As Secretary of Commerce, Brad Chambers broke records for job growth all across the state. Jobs with wages higher than ever before. Because of Brad Chambers, higher wages are on the way. And only Brad Chambers can keep them coming.
Paid for by Chambers for Indiana.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
You'll have a colorful radar. Cloudy 74 in the circle. The radar clear around Indianapolis. Low temperatures to the lower 60s tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. For Moss Roofing, here's what's trending at 3:33. Severe weather moves into Indiana Tuesday with storms showing up in the morning.
We're going to have more storms developing in the afternoon and evening tomorrow, and with that, all hazards are on the table. So large hail, damaging winds, and maybe even a few tornadoes.
Aaron Updike with the National Weather Service says more severe storms are possible to Wednesday. At a span of 4 hours, there were 6 people shot Sunday evening in Indianapolis. Kurt Darling reports.
2 of those 6 people were killed. Police say all the shootings were separate and in different places all throughout the city. The man who was killed was found along Illinois Street near West Morris downtown. No arrests in that shooting. There were 2 people who walked into different hospitals with gunshot wounds not long after that, and there were 2 others who were grazed by bullets in separate shootings along New York Street. Kirk Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Hamas says it's agreed to a ceasefire proposed by Egypt and Qatar. The details of the agreement remain private.
I can confirm that Hamas has issued a response. We are reviewing that response now and discussing it with our partners in the region.
State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller, Israel called the agreement unacceptable. Indiana Secretary of State Diego Morales wants a strong voter turnout for tomorrow's primary election.
That's one of my goals. One of my goals is to increase voter turnout, voter participation, and we've been doing that.
He tells All Indiana Politics early voter turnout's strong this time around. Morales also reminds you to have a photo ID handy if you're going to vote in person. Using the Indianapolis 500 to help the homeless, Sam Fritz reports.
Horizon House, an Indianapolis-based nonprofit that helps the homeless, is holding the Undy 500. This donation drive is happening during race month to help collect underwear for those who need it in the Indianapolis area.
Underwear is one of the things that is in most constant and urgent and desperate need for the individuals we serve.
Courtney Myers, Horizon House Director of Development and Communications. She says those who wish to donate new pairs of underwear in the month of May can do so at 1033 East Washington Street or online using Horizon House's Amazon wish list. Sam Fritz, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 3:36.
Bill Frazier is a Hoosier, an American,
who has served our citizens with distinction, determination, and a wisdom that comes with years of experience. Now, Bill Frazier is ready to dedicate his life to serving you as your next congressman in Indiana's 6th District. Bill Frazier is a true conservative. He'll fight for a secure border, smaller government, and lower taxes. He will be a tireless advocate for the Second Amendment and the rights of the unborn. Bill Frazier is a veteran paratrooper, a successful farmer and business owner, a licensed commercial jet pilot, a man with experience. When President Ronald Reagan needed expert advice on agricultural issues, he called on a young Hoosier farmer, Bill Frazier. Ronald Reagan trusted Bill Frazier. You can too. Vote for experience and determination. Vote for the true conservative Hoosier. Vote for Bill Frazier for Congress.
I'm Bill Frazier, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Friends of Bill Frazier.
With traffic at 337, what's going on, Matt Bear?
Harrison, southbound 65, stop-and-go traffic 21st to Meridian Penn. Eastbound 70, also slow to downtown from Harding Street to Meridian, Illinois. North side, eastbound 465, slow Keystone Avenue to Allisonville Road. And on the east side, northbound 465, slow roll off 72 Penn Pike. In the southbound lane, stop-and-go from Washington down to South Shadeland Avenue. Traffic sponsored by Sullivan Hardware and Garden. This week at Sullivan Hardware and Garden, get 30% off all patio furniture, wicker, Berlin Gardens, polycast, aluminum, teak, and more. I'm Matt Bear with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
A spotty shower or thunderstorm possible this afternoon. We'll see highs near 73. A few showers overnight with lows near 63. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
The only way to bag a classy lady is to give her 2 tickets to the gun show.
It's Monday Gun Day with the gun guy.
Just watch out for the guns.
Stop calling your arms guns.
Hammer and Nigel show.
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer right over there. Also joining us live in studio, the gun guy, Guy Relford, host of the Gun Guy Show. Saturdays here on 93 WIBC. He is a 2A attorney and a licensed firearms expert. How are you, Guy?
Man, I'm great. And thanks, as always, to our sponsor for Monday Gun Day. That's Premier Arms in Brownsburg, with the largest selection of new, used, and historic firearms in the Midwest, and PA Jewelers located right in the store. Check them out at 3754 South Green Street in Brownsburg or premierarms.com.
Okay, so primary day tomorrow.
Yeah.
What are your just overall thoughts? Any major 2A fighters, candidates, any gun-grabbing candidates out there that are on your radar?
There always are, but the one I'm most focused on that you guys and I have talked about multiple times, and I talked about it on my show on Saturday, and that's Jefferson Shreve running for the 6th Congressional District. The same guy who proposed a so-called assault weapon ban when he ran for mayor of Indianapolis, proposed raising the age to buy a gun, and raised and other gun control measures, really emulating Joe Hogg's gun control.
He wanted to get rid of constitutional carry,
and he wanted to roll back constitutional carry in Indiana. And I published an interview of his before my show on Saturday where he said, well, the state can't do any of these things. The city of Indianapolis can't do any of these things until the state changes the state preemption law. But he said, because I'm a Republican, I'll be better at passing these gun control proposals than Joe Hogg's will be. He was using his status as a Republican to say he can get gun control passed better than the Democrats can. That was so repugnant to me that I have kind of made a relentless effort to be on his ass on that issue. And now that he's running for Congress, the last thing we need is a gun grabber Republican joining the Democrats in Congress.
Mike Speedy, I believe, is the opponent running against Jefferson Shreve in that race.
Yeah, there are a bunch, but the two forerunners appear to be Shreve and Speedy. And Speedy, I think, clearly is the strongest 2A guy. He's got an A+ rating from the NRA. I've worked with him on constitutional carry. I worked with him on 2 pro-2A bills just this last year, and he's been real strong. He worked on the preemption law that prevents local governments from doing what Joe Hogsett and Jefferson Shreve wanted to do.
And big picture, normally primaries don't get very good voter turnout.
Right.
But in a state like Indiana, where if you win the primary, there's a very good chance you're going to win the general. outside of Indianapolis, Gary, and a few other pockets, it's a very red state.
Exactly.
It's so important to get out and vote.
It really is, and I really hope people in the 6th Congressional District, which does include parts of southern Marion County now, also goes down all the way down to Columbus. It goes south and east from there. It's a good-sized district and generally has been pretty conservative, and I really hope – it's all squarely within the WIBC listening area, so I really hope Republicans get out and vote in this primary, and I hope if you care about Second Amendment rights, I hope you remember the record of one Jefferson Shreve.
Who is this Indiana Firearms Coalition?
Oh, man. I got to tell you, I talked about this a little bit Saturday too. There's this new group that's popped up, and I'm usually glad to see them. If it's a pro Second Amendment group, I'm always like, man, come on in. The water's fine, right? We always need more help. We need more advocates in the General Assembly. And so I was excited to see him, but the more I dug into him, it appears it's a total scam. This group, they keep having conservative rights groups pop up in different states, usually in the Midwest, and they're into pro-life and Second Amendment, and it appears to just be a scam for fundraising because they're actually going after, I couldn't believe it, they're going after some of our strongest pro-2A legislators here in the state of Indiana. They're after Ben Smaltz. Ben Smaltz authored our constitutional carry bill. He authored church carry when we got it passed. He authored the self-defense immunity law along with Jim Lucas when we got that passed back in 2019. If I had to rank our strongest pro-2A legislators in Indiana, Jim Lucas and Ben Smaltz would be right at the top of the list. And they're going after this guy, saying he's weak on the Second Amendment. And I think that's the target. They want to take the strongest people, go after him because they think they'll get a big reaction to that and raise a bunch of money.
So this, in theory, could be somebody that's anti-2A, disguising themselves as a group where people would want to donate money, and then they take your money and they go after the strongest proponents of the Second Amendment.
That's exactly right. And we've seen that before on a national level, this National Association for Gun Rights, and I've talked about them on my show as well. We're doing the same thing. And in fact, they actually helped kill constitutional carry a couple of times because it wasn't the version of the bill that they wanted to see passed. But in the meantime, they were going after our strongest 2A legislators. And I haven't seen much from them. I think maybe they've receded back into the swamp from which they came. But this new group, this Indiana Firearms Coalition, seems to be following the same pattern, going after our strongest people and doing so just to raise money.
Did you mentioned church carry.
Yeah.
Did I hear you say that?
I did.
What is that again?
Well, what that is, and it's very important.
What it sounds like.
Yeah, there's never been a law that I know in my lifetime anyway. There's never been a law in Indiana that says it's illegal to carry in church. But there is a law that says it's illegal to carry on school property.
And there's some schools and churches.
Yeah, and the definition of school property is anything co-owned or on the same property with a school is school property. So, for instance, how many Catholic churches have a parochial school on the same grounds? I mean, all of them, right?
Right.
Or a licensed daycare, that makes it school property. So millions of Hoosiers were unable to carry in church because there was a school in the same building or on the same grounds, even though the kids aren't there, the school's not in session when you go to worship. And with the help of Ben Smaltz and Jim Lucas and Peggy Mayfield and Jerry Torr and several others, we got that changed in 2019, where now if you're attending a worship service or a religious ceremony in a house of worship, even though it's defined as school property, under that definition I just went through, you can now legally carry in that house of worship, either while you're attending that worship service or religious ceremony, or if you're a volunteer or employee of the house of worship. So, for instance, I've trained a bunch of church security teams, and they used to, a lot of them weren't able to carry in their churches because it was school property unless they got permission from the school board.
That's really interesting.
And so now when they come to me and I say, okay, you guys are volunteers or employees of the church, yep, boom, they can carry legally, and that's because of that bill we passed in 2019, authored by Ben Smaltz, who this idiot group of Indiana Firearms Coalition is actually going after, saying he's weak on the 2A of all things.
Did you get that article I sent you about what almost happened at that church in Pennsylvania over the weekend?
Oh, I got several, yeah.
This church in North Braddock, Pennsylvania, where this guy walks up and points a handgun at the pastor behind the podium, and it jams.
Yes. I think the article, the headline was "God jammed that gun" or something along those lines.
But I mean, I looked at that, and the tragedy averted. They tackle this guy, and it just goes to show these gun-free zones or whatever they call them, because not every church has enough money to do like private security.
No, that's exactly right.
I don't think this was like the world's biggest church.
No, that's exactly right. And how many times have we seen mass shooting in churches? I mean, right, there were two within a couple of years in Texas, White Settlement, Texas, and the other one's escaping me. But there have been several. They've been all over the country. And, this is near and dear to my heart because my dad retired at age 88 as a Methodist pastor. And I got to tell you, my dad carried every day he ever preached because he taught in a small kind of a country traditional church with just straight pews and, the pulpit up front and the entrances in the back. And he always said, it kind of sounds like this scenario you just described, Nigel. He always said, if a bad guy comes in my church, I'm going to be the first one to see him.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be the first one to do something about it.
Can you stick around for one more break?
Always, you bet.
All right, Guy Relford's going to come back. I want to get your opinion on the latest recipients of the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the Freedom Award from the Joe Biden White House. Oh, my goodness. You're going to want to stick around for that. That's coming up next. This is the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Hammer and Nigel here for Window Nation. And you hear a lot of the same offers from competing window companies. So the question becomes, why choose Window Nation over the rest? I'm here to tell you why. First of all, because I did. I wouldn't put my name on anything I didn't trust. Window Nation's all about paying attention to detail. They measure their windows 3 times to ensure proper fit. Each installer has averaged over 10 years of experience, so you can have the best windows in the world, but if it's not installed properly, it's not going to do you any good.
Even if you've just been thinking about getting new windows, call Window Nation right now and lock this deal in. Talk to a representative. This is the semi-annual sale, which means 50% off all style of windows and 0% interest for 5 years and an additional bonus discount for booking your appointment this week. Call right now. You're going to kick yourself if you miss this deal. Miss out on these savings. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Raju, shades of red, white, and blue. Guarding dreams for all, he believes in you.
Raju Chinthala is a healthcare professional, a successful businessman, and a community leader with experience. Raju is ready to be your next congressman in the 5th District. Raju for you.
Raju, shades of red, white, and blue.
Raju is a family man ready to represent your family with Hoosier values. And he's a man of action, ready to get things done. Vote for Raju Chinthala, Republican 5th District Congress.
Raju, shades of red, white, and blue. Guarding dreams for all, he believes in you.
I'm Raju Chinthala, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Raju for Congress.
Guys, let's talk game. Practice just wrapped up with the annual spring game. Your team looks promising this fall, but how's your game? Testosterone therapy can help you get back to your best, and spring is the time to start. We recommend Low T Center.
They make it quick and easy. Walk in, take a simple blood test, and get your results back in about 25 minutes. If you feel tired, if you've seen weight gain, loss of muscle mass, could be low T. And lowtcenter.com is the place where you book your appointment. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
When you get nachos, tacos, empanadas, spicy queso with jalapenos, Pepto-Bismol's there. Pepto-Bismol provides fast, effective relief from nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, and diarrhea. All the things that can happen unexpectedly on vacation. So before you travel, pack the Pepto. Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
President Trump knows if you need backup to get a job done, you need a fighter. That's why President Trump is endorsing proven conservative combat veteran Jim Baird. Baird served our nation in the United States Army and was awarded the Purple Heart and Bronze with Valor Star. And when Baird got home, he didn't stop serving us. Jim Baird worked as a farmer and small business owner, creating jobs and growing our economy. Then Baird served Indiana as a state representative where he fought to safeguard our community. Now Baird is serving Hoosiers in Congress and will partner with President Trump to secure our border, build the wall, deport criminal illegal aliens, curb inflation, cut government spending, defend our God-given Second Amendment rights, and defeat the radical left. Help send President Trump the backup he needs to drain the swamp. Send Trump-endorsed conservative combat veteran Jim Baird for Congress.
I'm Jim Baird, and I approve this message. Paid for by elect Jim Baird for Congress.
B&W Plumbing, HVAC, and Electrical is here to make your spring comfortable and hassle-free. Go to bplusw.com/radio to schedule your appointment today. B&W is your independent American Standard Air dealer.
For the biggest selection of Mother's Day gifts, shop Cynthia's Hallmark at 116th and Allisonville Road, 116th and Brook School Road, 96th and Lantern Road in Fishers, and in Greenfield.
This week at Sullivan Hardware and Garden, see our great selection of grills. We have Weber, Traeger, the Big Green Egg, and all the accessories.
Matt Bear's got to look at the roads.
All right, Hendricks County westbound 70 crash near 525. The left lane is currently blocked. Traffic stopped all the way back to State Road 267 and a little bit beyond. Also looking at southbound 465 on the east side. Stop and go traffic after East 56 down to 70. I'm told that's road construction. Right lane is blocked. Northbound 465 a little bit slow around East 56th Street and northbound 37 jams at Epler. Traffic sponsored by Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Sullivan Hardware and Garden this week. Get 30% off all patio furniture, wicker, Berlin Gardens, poly, cast aluminum, teak, and more. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Right now, we got some rain and 75 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. Guy Relford in studio with us Monday Gun Day. You sent me a message earlier, Guy. The Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Yeah.
Who did it go to?
It went to the number one advocate for destroying your Second Amendment freedoms in this country that I could ever identify, ever point to. The number one, without any question in my mind, is Michael Bloomberg. You know, people might say Shannon Watts, but he's Shannon Watts' boss, right? Moms Demand Action got absorbed into the Michael Bloomberg groups. And he's the guy that, you know, Bloomberg Financial and Bloomberg Publications and all that. He's
had a
the same
very
guy.
poor presidential run.
Dropped out early, but he's a billionaire and he's devoted millions and millions and millions, maybe billions of dollars into anti-gun, anti-2A groups. And here's a guy dedicated. I mean, he makes no bones about it. He advocates openly and strongly and talks about the amount of money he spends. The guy's fighting that hard to destroy a constitutional freedom in this country, and he gets from Joe Biden the Presidential Freedom Award. Can it be any more ironic than that?
Well, when you put it that way, the guy that wants to take away some of your freedoms getting a Freedom Award, it's pretty much on par for the course with what we see from the Biden administration.
It really is. This is a guy who not only just contributes millions of dollars, this is a guy who was frustrated that there wasn't enough anti-gun, quote-unquote, scientific study out there. So he actually went to Johns Hopkins University, and they founded with a huge, multi-hundreds of millions of dollars, with a huge donation from him, they founded the Michael Bloomberg School of Public Policy. And guess what they do? They crank out anti-2A so-called research or analysis so that they can then turn around and use that university and their reports as support to eradicate gun rights. He has gone that far, and this guy gets the Freedom Award. It's amazing to me.
Got about 30 seconds left here, Guy. Did I read that in Indiana, Guy was named the board of directors at the NRA?
Yeah, congratulations to Representative Craig Haggard. He was a new representative a year or two ago from the south side of Indy, and he, along with Senator Jim Toms from Indiana, was already on the board, and Charlie Hill-Tunin, my friend, who's president of the Indiana State Rifle and Pistol Association, he's on the NRA board, and with Craig Haggard now joining them as well, I'm really hoping that we got a good Indiana voice that'll really steer NRA in the right direction.
If somebody wants to hire you, ask you questions, how can they find you?
Best way is through Twitter, man. It's just at Guy Relford on Twitter.
Guy, you're the best. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Sometime in the next hour, we're going to give away tickets to Carb Day.
Oh, cool.
You want Carb Day tickets? We got them sometime in the next hour. Stick around.
Galaxy Concrete Coatings. Man, my new Galaxy Concrete garage floor is out of this world. It's going to be so easy to clean with all the dirt and debris that my kids drag in every summer. They got a new coat on my garage floor, new coating in as little as a day, and it's so much better. 4 times stronger than epoxy. They didn't use epoxy. They used polyurea. That's the new premium standard when we're talking about coatings, whether it be your garage, basement, any indoor or outdoor area concrete. Check out the before and after photos on their website, galaxyconcretecoatings.com, or give them a call, 751-9070.
Hey guys, it's Rob from my friends at Universal Windows Direct. Spring is here and it's only going to get hotter. Call my guys at Universal Windows Direct. At Universal Windows Direct, their super spacer technology makes their windows last up to 5 times longer than other Windows systems. So your windows from Universal Windows Direct perform better and last longer. Plus, Universal Windows Direct backs it up with a true 20-year warranty. And listen to this deal going on with Universal Windows Direct. Call today at 317-659-7574, and for every 2 windows you buy, you get the next 2 free. Buy 2, get 2. Buy 4, get 4. Buy 20, get 20. There's no limit. Plus, what a deal, 0% financing for 60 months. That's right, 0% financing for 60 months. Restrictions apply. For the last windows you'll ever need, go to UWD.com, UWD.com, UWD.com.
My husband, Bob, has Parkinson's, and he needs more help now, and I need more support to help him. Thanks to Indiana Pathways for Aging, we're getting the support we need to help him right here at home, like with meal prep and basic personal care, and even respite support for me.
Pathways provides Hoosier Medicaid members, age 60 and over, support for care their way, so they can live life their way. Eligible members can select a plan now. Call 87-PATHWAY-4 or visit in.gov/pathways.
Your Mother's Day shopping has been made easy. All you have to do is go to PA Jewelers in Brownsburg, 3754 South Green Street in Brownsburg. With truly unbeatable prices, 70% less than competitors. Simple pieces to extravagant jewelry, a huge selection including designer and vintage pieces, and unique offerings from 5 different local jewelry artists. More than a kiss, PA Jewelers inside Premier Arms, 3754 South Green Street in Brownsburg, 317-858-3030, 858-3030.
Wealth-changing question. Has your advisor created a portfolio based only on your age and risk tolerance? That's simply not good enough. Your money deserves better, and so do you. At Creative Planning, our private wealth managers learn about you first, and then they create a customized plan and portfolio by partnering with our in-house money managers, accountants, and attorneys. Don't settle for a standard portfolio. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
The elites want more control through digital currencies in a cashless society. This is Stephen K. Bannon, and I believe gold is the answer to safeguard your wealth, especially if you own your gold inside of a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To learn more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting SHELTER to 989898. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust, so text SHELTER to the number 989898 to claim your free info kit today.
Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, who's winning? What? Who's winning?
Somebody spinning?
Race fans know the track is loud. For the hard of hearing, this confusion happens every day on the telephone. RelayIndiana.com can help. RelayIndiana.com is a free service that provides telephone access to the hard of hearing, so users have normal phone conversations through relay operators. Relay Indiana also provides free equipment to those who qualify. Enjoy the race and phone conversations. Visit RelayIndiana.com now.
Coming up in 2 minutes, it could be raining when you vote tomorrow. Sam Fritz reports that an 18-year-old in custody after a stabbing yesterday. And why Hogsett's plan for an MLS team may not have the support. That's coming up after Fox News Radio from the Technology Recycler Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis.
A
possible ceasefire deal isn't stopping the fighting. Lisa Brady, Fox News. Hours after Hamas claimed it accepted a ceasefire proposal, the Israeli military just confirming it is hitting Hamas targets in eastern Rafah after telling civilians to evacuate that part of the southern city in Gaza, where the U.S. remains concerned about civilians being put at greater risk, though still supporting Israel's right to eliminate the threat from Hamas.
You're not going to eliminate an ideology through military operations, but does Israel have a right and responsibility to eliminate the threat that they suffered on the 7th of October? 100%, absolutely they do, and we've been nothing but very steadfast on that.
But National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby says President Biden was clear about the U.S. position on Rafah in a call earlier today with Prime Minister Netanyahu. It's still not clear exactly what's in the deal Hamas says it agreed to. Israeli officials signaling it appears to be different than earlier frameworks. State Department spokesman Matthew Miller.
There has been a significant offer on the table. The ball has been in Hamas's court. We have made clear that they should accept that offer, that Israel made significant compromises, showed that they wanted to reach an agreement that would lead to the release of hostages, that would bring an immediate ceasefire.
For now, the Hamas announcement remains under review. Pro-Palestinian protesters demanding talks with Harvard University, where the interim president has responded with a warning that students who don't end the encampment will face involuntary leave.
The student group that has created the encampment is called Harvard Out of Occupied Palestine, and they have not been clear about what precisely their next steps would be if Harvard leaders do not engage with this negotiation that they have demanded begins at 5 o'clock this afternoon.
Fox's Molly Line at Harvard. George Washington University also calling for protesters to end an encampment. Stocks finish higher, the Dow up 176 at the bell. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Storms likely tomorrow. Cloudy and 72 degrees in downtown Indianapolis. You've got a clear radar, but that could all change this time tomorrow. Low is 63 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:02. All types of severe weather possible on Election Day. Ryan Hedrick reports.
On Tuesday morning, there will be a line of less severe storms passing through Indiana, but during the afternoon,
more storms initiating over the western part of Indiana, moving eastward in that early to mid-afternoon hours.
Aaron Updike with the National Weather Service says that during those afternoon storms, we could see all kinds of severe weather like hail, strong winds, and tornadoes, and it looks like we'll be in for more severe storms on Wednesday. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Edinburgh police say Michael Adair was the man who was found stabbed early this morning near US 31. He was pronounced dead at the scene despite medics trying to save him. A person of interest has been detained, according to Edinburgh police. An 18-year-old in custody accused of stabbing someone and stealing meds. Sam Fritz explains.
Newcastle police say that it was actually the suspect, Nicholas Ramsey, who called them first to report that he'd been shot. Only that never happened. Officers would eventually respond to the crime scene on Lincoln Avenue. There, they found a victim with stab wounds who says Ramsey attacked them and stole prescription drugs along with a handgun before fleeing. Ramsey would be arrested and charged with attempted murder, burglary, and theft of a firearm. Sam Fritz, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
If you want to vote tomorrow, make sure you've got a photo ID handy.
People have passports. People have their military ID. People, we're issuing free IDs here. We still have time.
Indiana Secretary of State Diego Morales, he tells All Indiana Politics his office is also working with Homeland Security to make sure your ballot is counted accurately. Mayor Joe Hogsett may not have the political support to bring a Major League Soccer team to Indianapolis, says Gary Dick with Inside Indiana Business.
There's not folks taking a leadership position, if you will, for this.
Dick talking with WIBC's Tony Katz. He says it is possible that some leaders are supporting Hogsett's plan behind the scenes. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:04.
Does the direction of our country concern you? Do you shake your head wondering how we got here? It's clear America has turned away from God, which is why we are plummeting into the dark abyss.
We need to turn back to God, individually and nationally. We broke God's law. Jesus paid the fine on the cross. We must repent of our sins and put our trust in the Lord Jesus Christ alone, in his death and resurrection, confessing him as Lord of our life to be saved. He will then grant us eternal life with him now and forever.
We need bold, genuine Christians like John Jacob to take Jesus with them into the D.C. swamp.
I'm John Jacob. I don't leave Jesus at the door like most officials do. I am the only candidate proven to fight for what is right and just. I have and will push back the radical left and weak establishment swamp. By God's grace, I did it in Indiana, and I will do it in D.C.
Vote John Jacob for Congress, District 6 on May 7th. Learn more at voteforjohnjacob.com. That's vote, the number 4, johnjacob.com.
I'm John Jacob, and I approve this ad. Paid for by John Jacob for Congress.
With traffic on the 5s at 4:05, here's Matt Bear.
All right, Harrison, looking at the south side, it's a stall on westbound 465 at US 31. The left lane is blocked, and traffic is stopped past Madison Avenue or for about a half a mile. Hendricks County, westbound is 70. It's a crash around 525 east. This is about 2 miles after State Road 267, left lane closed. Traffic stopped almost to Ronald Reagan Parkway. Our delay time right now is 73 minutes. I'm on US 40 instead. Looking at eastbound 465 on the north side, now stop and go traffic from Keystone Avenue over to Allisonville Road on the east side, southbound 465, stop and go after East 56 270 because of construction. Traffic sponsored by Sullivan Hardware and Garden. This week at Sullivan Hardware and Garden, see their great selection of grills, Weber, Traeger, and Napoleon grills, along with the Big Green Egg. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
A spotty shower or thunderstorm possible this afternoon. We'll see highs near 73. A few showers overnight with lows near 63. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
My name is Nigel. That's Jason Hammer right over there. Primary Eve. Hammer, are you as fired up as I am about Primary Eve?
We got the tree up at home.
Really?
The tree is up. The stockings are out. And we're going to put some gifts, some milk, cookies, and gifts on the table.
Really?
And maybe if we're good little voters, an establishment Republican will come down the chimney and tax the bejesus out of us tomorrow. Primary Eve, everybody. Celebrate appropriately. Sing carols and decorate the house. You are going to get out, though, and vote tomorrow.
I am, and the thing somebody sent me a PDF of everything we're voting for, on down the line from the president to, there's so many things, like, precinct committeemen. State delegates, of course, is what has been Rob's passion. Rob Kendall talking about,
right.
Getting the right delegates. State House reps.
Right.
Like the guy that's running in my district, Hunter Smith, is Hunter the punter,
former Colts punter,
friend of the show. So lots to choose from, lots to go over. Do your homework.
You can find out what's on your ballot just by going to Google and just do a simple search. What's on my ballot, Indiana, something like that. And they will bring up a listing, based on your zip code, what you can vote for. So if you have any questions, do your homework tonight and get out and vote tomorrow. I know it might rain a little bit, but here's why this is important tomorrow. I get it. Sometimes these elections are choosing between a giant douche and a turd sandwich. I understand that. But in Indiana, more often than not, the Republican will win the general election, unless it's in Marion County or up by Gary, those hot spots. So you got to think to yourself, who do you want to have the job? Because that's what's on the line tomorrow.
Yeah, I've got kind of like this super duper secret kind of source that's kind of like, I'm not up on my, state delegates, right? I'm not up on my precinct committeemen, but I've got a source that has sent me sort of the highlights of who I should probably look for if you're a conservative, if you have those, set of values.
Right.
So I'm going to be bringing this thing up to me. It's like 3 pages, and it's going to look pretty silly. You can tell. I'll be the one with like my readers and a pen and checking off exactly who I'm voting for.
Because you can choose up to, in some places, 20 delegates, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to break down a big binder.
Yeah.
You've got like an NFL draft war room binder of potential delegates that you're going to take to the polling booth. Tomorrow, we've got full coverage for you, okay? So when you're going to the polls, Keep it locked right here at 93 WIBC. And then in the afternoon, the home stretch of voting. And then when the polls close at 6, we're going to take this show till 7 tomorrow. And then the newsroom, along with Abdul and some other folks, they're going to give you the election results as they come in. Okay? So do not go anywhere other than WIBC for all election coverage tomorrow. Now, speaking of why elections matter, local elections, coming up here a little less than an hour from now, Vivek Ramaswamy is going to join us. He's kind of hitched his wagon to a couple Indiana candidates.
Well, he was just here for the Lincoln dinner on Friday, I believe, in Noblesville.
Yes. So there's a couple Indiana candidates that he is endorsing. And, of course, we'll talk about big picture stuff, too.
Sure.
2024 campus protests. Vivek Ramaswamy coming up a little bit after 5 o'clock. Nigel, we haven't done this in a while.
What's that?
How about some vaccine stuff?
No.
Pharmacies, antibodies, side effects, vaccine stuff. It's been a little bit since we've had some vaccine stuff, but former CNN anchor and vaccine pusher Chris Cuomo, Fredo, he now works over at News Nation. He disclosed for the first time that he's been suffering from side effects from the COVID-19 vaccine. One of his guests on his show was nurse practitioner Sean Barkavich. And now both of these guys claim that they've got some sort of side effects. And of course, the New York Times all of a sudden has discovered the story that there may be side effects with the COVID vaccine. Here's Fredo.
New York Times released an article that's getting a lot of play that says that there are thousands of people who say they're still suffering side effects they believe from the vaccine and that those have been ignored. Now, one of them is nurse practitioner Sean Barkavich. He says he got his first dose in 2020, had side effects. Just standing up sent his heart racing, stinging pain in his eyes, mouth, groin. Those have gotten a little bit better, but he still has what they call tinnitus. That's a ringing in the ears. We know that vaccines can have unintended consequences, AKA side effects, but nobody's really talking about it because they're too afraid of blame and they just want it to go away. But the problem is people like Sean and me and millions of others who still have weird stuff with their blood work and their lives and their feelings, physically, are not going away.
Yeah, you know what? You read that New York Times article that Cuomo was talking about, and it's still really not. It's like, is anybody listening to these people that say the vaccine has injured them? But they still, in that article, they still praise the mRNA vaccines.
Sure,
the person that wrote that article advocated keeping kids out of school for 2 years, and that kids were susceptible and super spreaders for COVID. So give me a break. We all know that COVID causes myocarditis. For instance, just for starters.
Right.
Look at what happened with Eric Clapton. Guitar God, as they call him. He took the vaccine, and his left arm was numb for like a month. He couldn't feel his hands. He makes his living playing the guitar. And I remember it was kind of funny with the vaccines, Hammer. Before Donald Trump lost the election, and they were, Operation Warp Speed, and there were so many Democrats, including Kamala Harris, saying, I'm not taking the Trump vaccine. Are you kidding me? And then after Joe Biden got elected, all of a sudden, they were lining up, rolling up their shirts, cameras everywhere, trying to be the first to get that vaccine. Yeah, I mean, did you have any side effects when you...
I got the one-shot Johnny. I had the Johnson & Johnson one.
Yeah.
And again, I got it against my will because I felt like I had to keep my job. Now, to Rob Kendall's credit, he ended up, having to take a COVID test like every single week he had to come in here.
Yeah.
Sounded like a big pain in the ass to me. In retrospect, maybe I should have done that. But I got the one-shot Johnny. Johnson & Johnson, and nothing happened.
I regret getting mine. Upon the recommendation of my doctor, not anything to do with the mandate here at work. He recommended me at the time. I've been going to him for 20 years, and I just kind of felt like I had a wet blanket on me both times that I got. I don't think I got the third one. Was there? I can't remember the Moderna.
They want you to get one every 5 weeks. It feels like.
No, the boosters have completely. You look at the numbers of the CDC. The boosters have fallen off the face of the map. If you get a COVID booster, at this point, if you get injured, that's on you.
But the New York Times covering this now, and Fredo saying people feel afraid to even talk about it. Well, you were a big part of that.
Yes.
You were a big part of that. Like, you were on the front lines getting this stuff because you cut a lot of people because your brother hooked you up and got you to the front of the line. And now you're out there saying, well, I can't believe that this is happening. It's a lot like Bill Maher, right? Everybody wants to talk about how Bill Maher, he's upset with the Democratic Party. Well, you helped create it. This is part of the monster that you helped create. So between you and I, Fredo, can I call you Fredo? I don't want to hear any crap coming out of your mouth.
That's a slur that is on par with certain other words. According to him, anyway.
If you sneeze, that's just like using that word according to Fredo. That was one of his favorite lines. All right, Matt Bear, what's up?
Hendricks County crash, westbound 70 near 525. That's going to be about 2 miles after State Road 267, and the left lane is blocked. Traffic is jammed almost back to Ronald Reagan Parkway. Looking at the south side, stop 11 Road. The intersection with Railroad Road is shut down because of police activity. East side, southbound 465, stop and go. East 56 down to I-70 because of construction. A delay continues to US 40. Southbound 65, stop and go. MLK2, Meridian Penn. Eastbound 70 stop-and-go traffic from Tibbs Avenue into Meridian, Illinois. Traffic sponsored by Mr. Quick Home Services. Attention, Indy homeowners. Is your cooling system ready for the heat? Don't sweat it. Mr. Quick Home Services has you covered with their special $89 cooling tune-up offer. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
If you need a good laugh, go to our Facebook page. Just scroll down a couple posts. I retweeted something from the Babylon Bee. You know how Christy Gnome's in some hot water now because in her book she talked about shooting a puppy because it wasn't behaving properly. The Babylon Bee has a story. Christy Gnome attends Kentucky Derby to see if any horses need to be put down. And the photo is fantastic. She's got the big Derby hat on. She's looking off in the distance. She's got a shotgun right in front of the Barbaros statue. So good. Check it out at Hammer and Nigel. 72 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. Is this anything? Next.
Gotta love Low T Center. Low T Center helps guys get their mojo back. Like if you're feeling tired and if you've noticed the lack of motivation and drive, a weight gain, loss of muscle mass, these are all signs of low T. Don't wait to find out. At Low T Center, they make it easy to get your levels checked, and they make it quick. It's just a simple blood test. And with their on-site lab, you'll get your results back in about 25 minutes. Only at Low T Center.
Most health insurance is accepted at the Low T Center. And that's important because they do so much. They can check your testosterone levels. They can screen you for cancers. They can see if you have sleep apnea. It really is your one-stop shop for all things men's health. And most health insurance is accepted. And right now, it's only $25 to get your T level tested, and you get your results back in about 25 minutes. Go to lowtcenter.com. Book your appointment right now. lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Get ready for storm season because you know as well as I do, storms in Indiana can be fierce and they can come out of nowhere. So don't wait for a leak to have your roof inspected. Have peace of mind about your roof being able to handle any storm. Moss Roofing, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com provides free inspections and can spot potential issues before they turn into costly repairs. Whether you're looking for a siding replacement after a strong wind or a roof replacement after a hailstorm, Moss Roofing has options that fit any budget. Just ask Moss Roofing about their payment plans. No matter your situation, Moss Roofing has you covered with a job done right every single time. I love that. That's very funny. Contact Moss Roofing today. 317-747-3665. 317-747-3665. Tell them Tony Katz sent you. Moss Roofing, 747-3665, or online at Moss, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com.
Bill Frazier is a Hoosier, an American, who has served our citizens with distinction, determination, and a wisdom that comes with years of experience. Now, Bill Frazier is ready to dedicate his life to serving you as your next congressman in Indiana's 6th District. Bill Frazier is a true conservative. He'll fight for a secure border, smaller government, and lower taxes. He will be a tireless advocate for the Second Amendment and the rights of the unborn. Bill Frazier is a veteran paratrooper, a successful farmer and business owner, a licensed commercial jet pilot, a man with experience. When President Ronald Reagan needed expert advice on agricultural issues, he called on a young Hoosier farmer, Bill Frazier. Ronald Reagan trusted Bill Frazier. You can too. Vote for experience and determination. Vote for the true conservative Hoosier. Vote for Bill Frazier for Congress.
I'm Bill Frazier, and I approve this message.
Paid for by friends of Bill Frazier.
The elites want more control through digital currencies in a cashless society. This is Stephen K. Bannon, and I believe gold is the answer to safeguard your wealth, especially if you own your gold inside of a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To learn more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting SHELTER to 989898. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust, so text SHELTER to the number 989898 to claim your free info kit today.
Message and data rates may apply.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
This week at Sullivan Hardware and Garden, get 30% off all patio furniture, wicker, Berlin Gardens, poly, cast aluminum, teak, and more.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by B&W Plumbing, HVAC, and Electrical, your American Standard air dealer.
Hammer and Nigel presents
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is.
Is this anything?
All right, let's rock and roll.
Hammer, how do we play? Is this anything?
I will run some stories by you. You break down all the information. Give us a verdict. Is the story in question anything or not?
Do it.
A Florida man and president of his homeowners association saw some kids fishing in a subdivision and pulled out a gun on them.
Come on.
Here's one of the mothers of the children speaking out.
It was startling. He's still super shaken up, knowing like on a daily basis, we have to drive by this subdivision where this man lives. This man truly hurt not only my kids' love for fishing, now he's afraid to do it, but he's also hurt our family because now we have to relive this incident over and over again.
Yeah, this is something. This is ridiculous. This is irresponsible gun ownership. Guy Relford, who we just had in here for Monday Gun Day, would hate this guy. This makes responsible gun owners. I mean, this is the kind of thing that guys like Bloomberg, who got the Medal of Freedom,
yes,
and who wants to take your guns, every gun of yours away. This is the kind of thing they'll point to every time. And homeowners associations, ugh,
the worst.
I will say, I will say the one I live in is not bad. Ours isn't that.
You have to say that because you live there, and if not, there'll be a pain in your ass.
Yeah.
Can I call them all creeps and goons? Can I do that?
Let's see. I'm trying to look and see if this guy got arrested. I hope he got arrested. But so the ages were 7, 10, and 15. The guy pulls a gun. Yeah, he was arrested and booked in the jail. He was later released after posting bond. So they arrested the guy. Good. They should take his gun away and probably never get it back.
We should have made a Hammer and Nigel record song. Little nitty-gritty dirt band fishing in the dark. Hey, you kids going fishing in the dark. Hands on the ground, look up at the stars.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah, and like, the gun guy would probably disagree with me when I say that this idiot should have his gun taken away for life. But if you can't use it responsibly, if you're pulling a gun and pointing it at kids fishing, then yeah, there's something wrong with you mentally.
Is it ever okay to pull a gun on a kid?
Not
What
unless
if,
they're pointing one
the
at you.
kid is banging on the door and he's got a weapon? Like, is that okay then? Like, if the kid is banging on the door, he's saying, I'm going to kill you and your family, and even though he's 12 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're fair game at this point.
That's what I'm saying. Okay.
It's either me or the kid with the gun.
But that wasn't happening here.
No,
These kids were just fishing. Is this anything? A storm chaser saved a family of 4 live on YouTube last week after a tornado destroyed their house in Texas. He yelled for them to jump in his car, and he also saved their dog. Boy, Christy Nome's going to be pissed about that. Here's some footage of the rescue.
There's people. There's people. Get in! Get in the car!
Please.
Get in the car!
Please, God, help!
Open the door. Get in.
Hurry!
Come on, guys. Right here. Get in.
Get in!
Get in.
Hey, get in, baby!
My worst nightmare. One of my worst, especially when I was a kid, kind of living out in the woods and, living out in Hicktown, Hendricks County, Liston, lots of open fields and stuff whenever there is a storm. Just my worst nightmare. And this, go to our Twitter handle at Hammer and Nigel. Scroll down a few posts, Hammer. This twister was like something you'd see out of a movie. And these people just had their homes destroyed, and they were running away from it.
That's a big one.
They were running away from it, and this storm chaser pulled over and got them all in the car, including the dog, and rescued him. So he's a hero. And again, this is one of those like you'd see in the movie Twister with Helen Hunt.
Right.
This is one of those.
All right. So again, I'm always fascinated by your fears. So because you say something new every week is your worst fear. So what would scare you more? Being in a house where a twister is about to come by and smoke you?
Yeah.
Or you're in the ocean and you feel a bite on your leg by a shark and it drags you?
Definitely the great white in the Atlantic, dragging me down to the bottom of the ocean.
More so than being thrown up in the air and spun around and crushed.
I feel like maybe I'd have a chance with the twister. Like it'd throw me around, spin me, and just, throw me like 50, 100 yards or something like that. Maybe I could survive that.
But you're not surviving the shark attack.
I'm not surviving the great white in the Atlantic. No, not at all.
Is this anything? A woman's resume hack is all over social media because it's brilliant.
Okay.
It all hinges.
I'll be the judge of that.
It all hinges on the fact that companies use AI to filter out job candidates now. So this is the resume hack.
A lot of employers are using AI to scan resumes before they even read them. The problem there is that AI will say you're not a good fit if the formatting isn't AI friendly. Sorry, I don't know how to make a resume AI friendly. Step 1, you are going to highlight the entire job description and you are going to copy it, then paste it onto your resume. Then you're going to make that text super tiny and in white ink so it's not visible to the human eye.
I don't know what she's saying.
It still sees it and it reads every keyword that is there. So your resume looks like it's a great fit.
Her voice is so annoying. I can't. Why does every TikToker sound the way she does? Just copy and paste the entire job description and paste it somewhere into your resume, and as tiny as possible, and then make the font white so it's invisible. AI will see it, and then it'll have all kinds of words you're looking for. I'm done. I'm done. Yeah, no wonder they want to get rid of TikTok. I'm all for it. I didn't understand a word she said. I don't know what she's talking about. Something about making the font smaller. Yeah, you're a real genius, lady.
And now she got hired. She's going to be your coworker because she figured out a way to beat the AI filter. So that woman and her voice, they're going to be working side by side next to you.
Wonderful.
It's the Hammer and Nigel show.
Hoosiers have a choice on who they send to Washington and deserve to know the facts before voting. Jefferson Shreve caves to the radical left on our values and is a never-Trump moderate. Jamison Carrier, well, he filed for bankruptcy, owing thousands in tax liens, claims his primary residence is in Florida, voted there this last election. I'm Mike Speedy, and I approve this message. By the grace of God, I beat cancer, And with your help, we can beat these lying politicians and save America.
Mike Speedy is the only candidate who is both endorsed by Indiana Right to Life and is A+ rated by the NRA. Mike Speedy endorses President Trump and will join him to fix our border once and for all. Mike Speedy will fight the woke leftists to guarantee life and liberty. Speedy has a track record of fighting and winning. Vote Republican Mike Speedy in Indiana's 6th Congressional on or before May 7th. Paid for by Mike Speedy for Congress.
I'm Mike Speedy. I'm running for Congress, and I approve this message.
Hey, it's Hammer Nigel, and look, if you're over 60 and you've not filed for Social Security, there's some stats you might want to know about.
Did you know that 96% of Americans forfeit an average of $111,000 in Social Security income?
Wow, and it's because they file for their benefits at the wrong time. Now, you could learn how you could wring every nickel out of the benefits with a free customized Social Security analysis from Bill Demery. He's your retirement guy right here in Indy.
The free analysis makes filing for Social Security as easy as it can be, and it could help ensure you get the last penny out of the benefits that are rightfully yours.
So if you've saved more than $200,000 for retirement and you've not filed for Social Security, call now, 317-648-5120. That's 648-5120. Schedule your free analysis by calling Bill Demery at 648-5120. But tell him Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Dear driver, thank you. Thank you for slowing down when you saw the orange cones and road construction signs. My husband is one of those road workers. And today, you saved his life. If you hadn't slowed down, you would have missed that lane change, driven right into the work zone, and you would have killed him. Because you were driving differently. He'll be at our son's Little League game this weekend. He'll be there to walk our daughter down the aisle. He'll be out there tomorrow, making Indiana's roads safer. Thank you.
When driving in a construction zone, be smart, be alert, be in the zone.
This is Kelly Watson, business manager of Labor's Local 1112. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Indiana's District Council of Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Building a better future for Hoosiers is going to take an outsider. Brad Chambers is the only candidate for governor who's not a career politician. And only Brad Chambers built a national business from nothing. As Secretary of Commerce, Brad Chambers broke records for job growth all across the state. Jobs with wages higher than ever before. Because of Brad Chambers, higher wages are on the way, and only Brad Chambers can keep them coming.
Paid for by Chambers for Indiana.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Why you'll want to keep an eye on the radar. Cloudy with temperatures in the lower 70s downtown. Your radar's clear, low of 63 degrees tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox for Moss Roofing. Here's what's trending at 4:32. Rain tomorrow morning will lead to the potential for severe weather Tuesday afternoon.
We're going to have more storms developing in the afternoon and evening tomorrow, and with that, all hazards are on the table. So large hail, damaging winds, and maybe even a few tornadoes.
Aaron Updike with the National Weather Service says more severe storms are possible to Wednesday. President Biden is asking Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu not to conduct a major military operation in Rafah.
Now, as you know, the president talked with Prime Minister Netanyahu this morning. The call lasted about 30 minutes and was constructive.
National Security Council spokesman John Kirby says Biden was directed during the phone call. Hamas says they agreed to a ceasefire proposed by Egypt and Qatar. Israel called that agreement unacceptable. Vice President Kamala Harris says she and the president have spent their time in office investing in America.
Over the past 3 years, the president and I have invested now trillions of dollars in America's infrastructure, in clean energy and a clean energy economy, in manufacturing, and in supply chains.
Speaking at Detroit, Michigan this afternoon, claiming that they're going to keep investing in the auto industry, particularly when it comes to electric vehicles. A nonprofit looking for underwear and hygiene products to help the homeless. Sam Fritz reports.
It's called the Undie 500, and it's being hosted by the local organization Horizon House. They say that new pairs of underwear and basic hygiene products are items they often need the most. Courtney Myers, Horizon House Director of Development and Communications, says that these donations go a long way.
Ending homelessness is a community effort, and we would be so grateful for any support that could be offered with these new men's or women's underwear.
The donation drive lasts throughout the month of May. Items can be dropped off directly at Horizon House on 1033 East Washington Street. Sam Fritz, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And at the closing bell, the Dow was up by 176 to 38,852. The NASDAQ rose by 192 to 16,349. And the S&P 500 finishing up by 52 points to close the day at 5,180. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 5:34.
On a map, the southern border is 1,000 miles away. But that's not how it feels to my family. I grew up in a blue-collar home in Richmond. My dad was a factory worker. He was laid off twice. Not because the factory was doing poorly, but because it was cheaper to move those jobs across the border. I'm Jameson Carrier. Today, it's not what's leaving across the border that's devastating our families. It's what's coming in. And once again, it's personal. My wife and I lost our son Joey to fentanyl, a tragedy that's become far too common. To President Biden, secure the border is just a talking point. But to our family, it's life and death. I'm Jameson Carrier. I'm a business owner, a native Hoosier, and a Trump Republican. And we can't wait another day to secure our border and put Americans first. I'm Jameson Carrier, and I approve this message.
Jameson Carrier for Congress. Paid for by Carrier for Congress, Inc.
The traffic at 4:36. Here's Matt Baer.
All right, Hendricks, we are, all right, Harrison, we're moving again at Hendricks County, westbound 70 right now, stop and go traffic. After Ronald Reagan Parkway to State Road 267 because of an earlier crash. It is gone. Southbound 65 stop and go traffic from MLK to Meridian Penn. Southbound 65 70 delayed from the north split down to Fletcher Avenue. Northbound lanes also struggling of 65 70 from Washington Street into the north split and on to eastbound 70 to Rural Street. East side southbound 465 stop and go after East 56 down to I-70 because of road construction. They have a lane taken there. Traffic sponsored by Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. They've teamed up with the Indiana Fever and Common Threads to provide local schools with information for nutritious meal preparation. Learn more at anthem.com/fever. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is the trade name of Anthem Insurance Companies Incorporated. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
The forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Mostly cloudy tonight with lows in the low 60s. Tuesday will be active with showers and storms in the mid to late morning hours going into early afternoon, then redevelopment in the afternoon nighttime hours with severe weather potential. All hazards are possible with highs in the upper 70s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
So, yeah, I guess Hamas says it's accepting a Qatari and Egyptian ceasefire proposal.
Very upstanding people over there, so I can see why they'd want to jump in bed with them.
Israeli officials have not yet released a statement. Somehow I think this is all a ruse, and Israel's going to be like, no, this agreement sucks. And then they're going to turn around and say, well, look at Israel turning down ceasefires.
Right.
And meanwhile, Israel's proposed many ceasefire agreements, and Hamas has rejected them. So,
it's the oldest trick in the book, and what's sad is that certain university presidents, students around this country, and even media members are going to fall for it. You're absolutely right. That's exactly what they're going to do. It's a crappy deal, but Israel's going to counter and say, yeah, that sucks. We're not, we don't get our hostages back. We don't get nothing. No. And then the media, college kids, presidents, Israel doesn't want peace. Okay. Again, there was a ceasefire in place. It was violated by Hamas on October 7th.
They're going into Rafah, and they're going to exterminate the remnants of Hamas. That's what Israel is going to do.
And that's what you do to terror cells. That's what you do to terrorists. You exterminate them. And speaking of college campuses, did you see earlier today that Columbia, kind of ground zero for all of this college campus crap that's been taking place, they made the announcement that they're canceling their university-wide graduation ceremony.
Well, they have the administration. They have the president of the university to thank for that. because I believe it's probably a minority of students and people that are not even affiliated with the college at all that were the agitators.
Right.
Of this whole thing, the protesters.
So again, I'm the dad of a college student. Do you know how ticked off I would be if my son or daughter worked his backside off and was getting ready to get a degree from an Ivy League school, and you've paid all of this money, and this is big time money we're talking about, and you don't get a chance to walk across the stage and have your moment because these lunatics have ruined it? And if that's not enough, 4 years ago, the same thing happened to these kids in high school.
COVID.
They didn't get a high school graduation.
Ridiculous.
And now some of them are not getting a college graduation. That is damn ridiculous. It's unacceptable. And it doesn't have to be that way. That's the thing. With COVID, people at the time didn't know. There were questions. All right, fine. But here, strong leadership could end this on college campuses right now. You can just simply say, look, you can protest all you want. You've got freedom of speech. God bless you. But you don't have the right to threaten students. You don't have the right to block or harm students. If you do that, you will be arrested. That's all you have to do. But instead, too many folks are wishy-washy. But I will say this. There has been some rays of hope that have come from these college campus situations. The frat bros at North Carolina that saved the flag from the lunatics that were trying to tear it down and put up a Palestinian flag.
They were holding it up off the ground for like an hour.
Yes.
Getting shouted at and pelted with water bottles and stuff like that.
So hats off to the frat bros. And then you see places like Ole Miss. Ole Miss, they answered the encampment with their own encampment, and it was all patriotic. It was all USA. Now, at Ole Miss, encampment's kind of a tricky term because they did it over by the Grove, which is the big tailgate area for football games. So they had the right to do it, but the football fans at Ole Miss said, you're not taking this space, and they outnumbered them in mass, and the pro-Hamas folks went away. But this may be my favorite thing that I've heard in a long time. It's up there with the North Carolina kids that apparently have got $500,000 lined up for a big rager.
I think they've capped it. I'm looking at the GoFundMe right now. I'll get to the clip in just a second, but the GoFundMe for the UNC frat bros, $516,000, $516,000.
And it's all earmarked for a rager.
Yeah.
Like, we're not doing this for charity. We're not doing this for anything else. This is earmarked for a rager, the biggest campus party these frat bros have ever put on.
I have a feeling
that.
some of this is going to charity as well.
Whatever they want to do with it, God bless them. Which brings us to LSU. Listen to this audio. I love it. We've all seen those commercials where it's for SEC sports, and they say, the SEC, it just means more, right? We've all seen those commercials.
Sure.
So listen to LSU students telling the pro-Hamas people that they've got 0 national championships, 0 SEC championships. It's the best thing in the world.
0 national championships! 0 SEC championships! 0!
You hear that, Hamas? 0 SEC championships.
Warms the heart. And it's just the sheer, the mockery of it all.
Yes.
It's like these lunatics with the purple hair and homely girlfriends and fat, pudgy protesters are all over here thinking they're being virtuous. And you got these guys over here in good shape. They are strong. They're athletic. They're true Americans, and they're mocking these protesters by saying that they don't have any championships.
Hamas, 0 national championships, 0 SEC championships. And then they started a USA chant. It's so good. I love this. I'm also here for everybody laughing at Politico right now and all the hacks that write at Politico. So there was a story that they posted online over the weekend. Quote, pro-Palestinian protesters are backed by a surprising source, Biden's biggest donors.
Surprising source?
Right.
Did they really need to use the word surprising? Are you surprised by that?
Here's a little bit more from the story itself. Democratic donors such as George Soros, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, David Rockefeller Jr., who sits on the board of Rockefeller Brothers Fund, and Susan and Nick Pritzker, who own the Hyatt Hotel Corp., have all funded pro-Palestinian efforts.
Uh-huh.
I love they said that was surprising.
Yeah.
And these were some of the responses. Representative Jim Banks. Surprising to who?
Exactly.
Chaya Rychek, who runs Libs of TikTok. Quote, "This is actually the least surprising thing I've heard all year." Spectator writer Stephen Miller. The journalist at Politico, apparently the only people on the planet surprised by this. GOP spokesman Matt Whitlock. "This is only surprising if you're brand new to following Democrat money in politics."
I love it.
And again, Politico, just the most left-leaning publication this side of the Atlantic. It really is. It's right there with the Atlantic in terms of just rags. And mind you, this is the same outlet that outed a sexual assault that an Indiana candidate who was serving in the United States Armed Forces begged them not to put out there, but they did it to shame her.
She was running for office.
Right. And that's who Politico is. It's ran by a bunch of pencil necks, self-admitted, and
I love that reference.
I love the fact that they're backed by a surprising source. You don't say. Soros money? Wow. Didn't see that coming. All right, caller number 9 right now, 239-9393. We've got tickets for Qualifications and Miller Lite Carb Day with George Thorogood and the Destroyers. Caller number 9, you get to play the game, 239-9393.
She isn't working for us, so who is Victoria Spartz working for in Congress? Victoria Spartz said she'd fight the radical left, but spoke in defense of the squad's Ilhan Omar and refused to officially condemn Rashida Tlaib after her hateful, anti-Semitic statements. While there's an invasion on our southern border, Spartz votes to send $40 billion of our tax dollars to Ukraine. Victoria Spartz also says she stands with President Trump. Truth is, Spartz stated it's irrelevant who the president is and helps the Biden administration pass their agenda. Chuck Goodrich is an America First conservative. Chuck built a business that hires and builds American, and Chuck voted to end sanctuary cities. Chuck puts our national defense first by banning any Chinese presence near our military and National Guard bases. Chuck Goodrich fights for our values, voting to protect female sports and keep biological males from competing against young women in Indiana. Vote Chuck Goodrich for Congress. Paid for by Go With Chuck Goodrich.
I'm Chuck Goodrich, a candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Life can be full of risks. One thing you shouldn't take a risk with ever is your family's health insurance. If you're self-employed or you now need affordable health insurance, you need to make this free call right now and see how the Health Insurance Helpline can help you get it. We specialize in helping the self-employed and people just like you that need affordable health insurance to get it. We have short and long-term health insurance plans, and some even cover dental, vision, and prescription drugs. Don't take a risk with your family's health insurance. It's not worth it. If you're self-employed or now need affordable health insurance, call right now and learn for free how to get it. Listen, affordable health insurance plans for everyone just like you are a free phone call away. So give us a shout right now.
800-659-7540. 800-659-7540. 800-659-7540. That's 800-659-7540.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Summer's almost here and you know what's coming. Mom, I'm bored. You've already been to the library, the park, the swimming pool, but it's 6 p.m. and there's a lot of daylight left. Let Life Church help you get your summer started off right. Bring your kids to one of our vacation Bible schools beginning at 6 p.m. on June 3rd. They'll make new friends, play fun games, learn new music, and learn truth about Jesus. What a better way to start off summer. Go to lifechurchin.com for more.
President Trump knows if you need backup to get a job done, you need a fighter. That's why President Trump is endorsing proven conservative combat veteran Jim Baird. Baird served our nation in the United States Army and was awarded the Purple Heart and Bronze with Valor Star. And when Baird got home, he didn't stop serving us. Jim Baird worked as a farmer and small business owner, creating jobs and growing our economy. Then Baird served Indiana as a state representative where he fought to safeguard our community. Now Baird is serving Hoosiers in Congress and will partner with President Trump to secure our border, build the wall, deport criminal illegal aliens, curb inflation, cut government spending, defend our God-given Second Amendment rights, and defeat the radical left. Help send President Trump the backup he needs to drain the swamp. Send Trump-endorsed conservative combat veteran Jim Baird for Congress.
I'm Jim Baird, and I approve this message. Paid for by elect Jim Baird for Congress.
Springtime Blues? B&W Plumbing, HVAC, and Electrical is your go-to team. Visit bplusw.com/radio. Your comfort is their priority. B&W is your independent American Standard Air dealer.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for advice and fun. Brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. This week at Sullivan Hardware and Garden, see our great selection of grills. We have Weber, Traeger, the Big Green Egg, and all the accessories.
Matt Baer, what's going on?
Eastbound 465 stop traffic Westfield Boulevard to the White River. On the east side, southbound 465 stop and go. East 56 down to I-70. That's road construction. Southbound 65 stop and go traffic from MLK to the North Split. Delay continues down to Fletcher Avenue. Slow coming in from the west side on eastbound 70. It's from Belmont to the South Split exit north, and you're slow up to the Washington Street exit. South side pockets are slow on eastbound 465 running from 70 over to Harding Street. It's a crash Keystone Avenue at 30th, and on the south side, the intersection at Stop 11 Road and Railroad Road is closed because of police activity. Traffic sponsored by Sullivan Hardware and Garden. This week at Sullivan Hardware and Garden, see their great selection of grills, Weber, Traeger, and Napoleon grills, along with the Big Green Egg. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Right now it's 72 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center, and let's play IndyCar Driver or Starred on MacGyver.
Hey man, you like IndyCar? Oh, hell yeah.
And now, time to play IndyCar Driver.
The checkered flag is out. Goodyear makes a move. Little Al wins by just a few tenths of a second.
Or Starred on MacGyver.
Tonight on MacGyver.
IndyCar Driver or Starred on MacGyver.
Name's MacGyver.
I'm gonna bust his ass.
Caller number 9 was David. David, welcome to the Hammer and Nigel show. How are you?
Thank you. Doing great. I bowled with you guys a couple months ago.
Oh, right on. Okay.
How'd you do?
Well, I beat you once, Hammer. Sorry.
I may have been overserved. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Oh, that's the excuse.
All right. So, David, on the line, not just tickets to Qualls, but tickets to Carb Day as well at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And this is what we're going to do. I'm going to give you the name of somebody. It will either be a current IndyCar driver or someone who starred on the old TV show MacGyver, the old version. Get 2 out of 3 correct, we're going to give you the tickets, okay?
Okay.
Number 1, IndyCar driver or starred on MacGyver, Pato Award.
IndyCar driver.
IndyCar driver, yes. All right, get this right. We're going to throw a party. IndyCar driver, starred on MacGyver, Richard Dean Anderson.
Starred on MacGyver.
Yeah!
Man.
Hell, he was MacGyver.
I loved MacGyver when I was a kid. Loved watching that show.
MacGyver, The Fall Guy. It was a good run of shows.
Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Airwolf. Was that a show or a movie?
It was a TV show. Yeah, about a high octane helicopter, right?
Or something like that.
It was like A-Team kind of, but like involving in a helicopter.
Manimal.
I didn't get into Manimal.
Didn't get into Manimal.
No. David, what was your old classic go-to TV show?
Definitely A-Team when I was a kid.
Oh, sure, of course.
A-Team for
Can't
sure.
believe we didn't mention that.
All right, David, you got the tickets. Stay on the line, and Allison will talk to you and get you all set up, okay?
Excellent. Thank you.
You got it.
Looking forward to our next guest.
Yes, Vivek Ramaswamy.
Vivek, like cake.
He was here a couple days ago doing a Lincoln Day dinner, but he's got vested interest in what's going on in Indiana. He has endorsed a couple different candidates. We're going to talk to him about that. Also, the pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas protests that are happening all over the country.
I want to know if he thinks Joe Biden's going to get to the finish line of this election. That's piqued my curiosity.
We're going to talk to him right after the news at 5:06. Vivek Ramaswamy next.
It's high time we quit electing politicians who campaign on half-truths. Mike Speedy and Jeff Roth say they're pro-life, yet voted for abortion with exceptions. Speedy voted against abolishing all abortion.
I'm John Jacob. As state rep, I voted to end all abortion.
Jefferson Shreve tries to make you think he's pro-2A, yet he received an F from the NRA.
I'm John Jacob. As state rep, I fought hard for 2A constitutional carry and against red flag laws.
Jamison Carrier says he's an outsider, but those running his campaign are part of the establishment swamp. Being tied to establishment makes him beholden to the swamp.
I'm John Jacob. I'm the only true proven constitutional conservative anti-establishment candidate. I kept all my campaign promises, proving I do what I say I will do. I clearly say where I stand on issues.
John Jacob is the real deal. Vote John Jacob for Congress, District 6 on May 7th. Learn more at voteforjohnjacob.com. That's vote, the number 4, johnjacob.com.
I'm John Jacob, and I approve this ad. Paid for by John Jacob for Congress.
Chapters of this story take a whole month to tell. This is May. It starts with twists and turns on the IMS road course for the Sancio Grand Prix. Then PPG presents Armed Forces Indy 500 qualifying in the fight for the pole position. May continues with Indy's biggest party, Miller Lite Carb Day. And all roads lead to the 108th running of the Indianapolis 500 presented by Gangbridge. May is yours. May is ours. This is May. Buy now and save. Get tickets at IMS.com.
Hi, honey. Mom, I'm glad you figured out the video call. What's all that noise?
Oh, that. Your room will soon be a fitness studio.
My room? What?
Yeah, it's the home equity line of credit from Lake City Bank. The low fixed rate is helping us get things checked off our list. Oh, honey, the hot tub is here.
The what? Mom?
Use Lake City Bank's home equity line of credit for anything you need, even hot tubs. Learn more at lakecitybank.com or visit a branch near you. Subject to credit approval and equal housing lender.
Mecum Auctions, the world's largest collector car auction company, returns to Indy with Dana Mecum's 37th Original Spring Classic, May 10th through the 18th at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. 3,000 muscle cars, Corvettes, exotics, and more. Broadcast on Motor Trend TV and streaming live on Max. From avid collectors to those new to the Mecum experience, we welcome everyone. Register to bid now at Mecum.com.
When you use Bounce dryer sheets and your clothes look amazing, it's the sheet. Less static in your life? Yeah, it's the sheet. Smelling fresher than ever? It's the sheet. Oh, so soft fabric? Ooh la la. It's the sheet. Less wrinkles on your clothes? You know it's the sheet. Bounce dryer sheets. More freshness, more softness. Less static, less wrinkles. It's the sheet.
With spring just around the corner, Invisible Fence brand doesn't want you to be left behind. Give your dog the freedom and confidence they deserve now with an Invisible Fence system. Invisible Fence works in any weather, giving you confidence in your pet's safety at all times. Our pet professionals are experts at customizing solutions to your yard, your needs, and your dog's wants. Let us help you take full advantage of springtime when it's here. Spring into action and visit invisiblefence.com to learn more.
Attention, Indiana homeowners. Are you tired of avoiding your wet basement? Hi, I'm Mike Smith with Swainco Crawl Space and Basement Repair, your real, local, Indiana family-owned experts. Imagine all the possibilities of a guaranteed dry basement, a cozy new family room, a home gym, or even a new office. And with no interest, no payment financing, you don't have to break the bank to do it. Make the most of your basement today. Call Swainco 317-407-1868 or swaincollc.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, strong storms are expected to move through Indianapolis the next couple of days. Someone arrested for a stabbing in Newcastle yesterday and what it could take to bring an MLS team to Indianapolis. That's all coming up after Fox News Radio from the Technology Recyclers Studios. Cloudy with temperatures in the lower 70s downtown. You're listening to 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 5 o'clock.
Day 12 is in the books. Lisa Brady, Fox News. Former President Trump just wrapping up another day in court at his criminal trial in New York, calling it a threat to the country and the Constitution.
What's going on with this judge is a disaster. Between the gag orders and the hatred he's got for me.
The judge holding the former president in contempt again today for a 10th gag order violation.
He fined Trump $1,000 for violating the court's gag order, and he acknowledged that the fines don't appear to be having much of an impact on Trump and threatened to jail the former president if the violations continue. Mershon said he understands the magnitude of this and added, quote, "The last thing I want to consider is jail. You are a former president and possibly the next president."
Fox's Nate Foy at State Supreme Court in Lower Manhattan. Much of today's testimony was from a former Trump Organization controller as prosecutors try to prove business records were falsified to hide a hush money payment. They'll fight and talk at the same time. Israel launching airstrikes in eastern Rafah and also sending a delegation to meet with ceasefire negotiators after Hamas announced it was accepting a ceasefire proposal.
It was certainly a surprise to the White House to see this statement come from Hamas claiming that they had agreed to something. It's still unclear if what Hamas says it agreed to is in line with what the U.S. and Israel had put on the table, with what the CIA Director Bill Burns had been trying to broker in the region. But the reaction here has been somewhat muted. They're waiting for Israel and for the U.S. basically to look over the details of this deal and determine if it's something that anyone can swallow.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. The U.S. has urged against putting many civilians at risk with a large-scale ground invasion of Rafah. Multiple college campuses still have protest encampments, even as others are cleared. Some schools altering commencement events. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Rain returns tomorrow. Cloudy with temperatures in the lower 70s on the circle. You've got a clear radar. Low temps to the 60s tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:02. Most of Indiana's under a threat for severe weather the next couple of days.
For tomorrow, right now, we have a slight risk, which is that level 2 out of 5. Most of that's because we're kind of uncertain on where the storms are going to initiate tomorrow.
Forecaster Aaron Updike says the threat for severe weather in Indianapolis is stronger Wednesday. Someone was found shot this afternoon near a railroad on the south side. Indianapolis firefighters were first told of a car on fire with a bullet hole in it off West Stop 11 Road. IMPD's out there investigating now. Police in Newcastle found the suspect of a stabbing before they found the victim. Sam Fritz explains.
The Newcastle Police Department say they arrested 18-year-old Nicholas Ramsey after he stabbed another person and stole medication just after midnight on Sunday. Police actually heard from Ramsey before they heard from the victim, as he called 911 on himself to report that he'd been shot. Except that wasn't the case. He'd only suffered minor injuries fleeing from the crime scene. NCPD eventually responded to the scene of the stabbing where the victim identified Ramsey. He would be arrested and charged with attempted murder. Sam Fritz, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A 16-year-old boy was arrested Sunday after he and another teenager were involved in an armed carjacking north of downtown. IMPD officers spoke with a couple of people who said their car was stolen by two teenagers who had guns. Police say they found that stolen car nearby, not far from 30th and Illinois streets. The two teenagers tried to get away but crashed the car. The second teen was able to run away. A man was stabbed to death in Edinburgh early this morning. John Herrick reports.
The Edinburgh Police Department says it happened on East State Road 252 near US 31 around 12:30. They say they found the man with stab wounds. Medics tried to save him, but he died. He's been identified as Michael Jean Adair, and a person of interest has been detained. Adair was 48 years old. John Herrick, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
You may have heard about Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett's plan to try and bring a Major League Soccer club to the capital city. Gary Dick with Inside Indiana Business isn't sure if the mayor has the support he needs.
There's not folks taking a leadership position, if you will, for this.
Dick tells WIBC's Tony Katz it's possible that some city and county leaders are supporting behind the scenes. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 5:04.
Bill Frazier is a Hoosier, an American, who has served our citizens with distinction, determination, and a wisdom that comes with years of experience. Now, Bill Frazier is ready to dedicate his life to serving you as your next congressman in Indiana's 6th District. Bill Frazier is a true conservative. He'll fight for a secure border, smaller government, and lower taxes. He will be a tireless advocate for the Second Amendment and the rights of the unborn. Bill Frazier is a veteran paratrooper, a successful farmer and business owner, a licensed commercial jet pilot, a man with experience. When President Ronald Reagan needed expert advice on agricultural issues, he called on a young Hoosier farmer, Bill Frazier. Ronald Reagan trusted Bill Frazier. You can too. Vote for experience and determination. Vote for the true conservative Hoosier. Vote for Bill Frazier for Congress.
I'm Bill Frazier, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Friends of Bill Frazier.
With traffic on the 5s at 5:05, here's Matt Bear.
You got it, Harrison. Looking at the east side, southbound 465 stop and go east 56th Street down to I-70. That's because of construction, and the right lane is currently blocked. Crash Keystone Avenue at 30th. Crash 46 at Shadeland Avenue. Southbound 65 loaded from MLK to Meridian Penn into the North Split. Delay continues on eastbound 70 from the North Split past Rural. North side, eastbound 465 slow from 865 over to Meridian. Northbound 37 stop and go from Epler Avenue up to 465, and on the southwest side, southbound 465 jams at 70, then pockets of stop and go over to the White River. South side, avoid stop 11 Road at Railroad Road. That intersection is closed because of a shooting investigation. Traffic sponsored by the Indianapolis Men's Clinic. Guys, solve your ED today with an intimacy guarantee only at the Indianapolis Men's Clinic. If you don't perform, you don't pay. Call the Indianapolis Men's Clinic at 999-9000. That's 999-9000. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for its traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Mostly cloudy tonight with lows in the low 60s. Tuesday will be active with showers and storms in the mid to late morning hours going into early afternoon, then redevelopment in the afternoon nighttime hours with severe weather potential. All hazards are possible with highs in the upper 70s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it!
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer right over there with a very special guest on the hotline.
Indiana primary is tomorrow, and one guy that's been in Indiana recently talking about some candidates, Vivek Ramaswamy, joins us. Vivek, welcome to the Hammer and Nigel Show. What's up, man?
It's good to be on, man. I grew up in Ohio and spent a lot of time in Indiana growing up, so it was good to come back recently.
Have you been to an Indy 500 is the question, because I know you were at the F1 race in Miami with Trump over the weekend. We need to get you inside the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Vivek.
I would love to come. So I went to the Daytona 500 this year. Indy 500, we are going to try to make it work. My son is a big fan, and it is an active topic of debate in the house right now, so we're going to try.
Love it. You let us know, and we'll be your guides for everything you need to see.
I'll take you up on that.
Deal. You spoke at the Lincoln Day dinner recently. Why did you decide to speak at that?
Look, I think the timing of both where we are as a country and what we're heading for this November, as well as the Indiana primary coming up, which I think is really important, makes for some important choices we have to make. I mean, I think it's a moment where we as Americans are going to have to make a sacrifice like our founding fathers made 250 years ago. It's a 1776 moment in this country right now, and that was the message I delivered at that Lincoln Day is that we can often fall into the trap of thinking it's somebody else's problem to solve. Maybe I write a check and then I feel like I'm absolved of further responsibility. No, it doesn't work that way. This is a moment where if we don't make the sacrifices needed to save this country, our kids are not going to have that same country left to grow up in. And so I'm traveling the country, Indiana included. One of the things I love about that trip is you go to Hamilton County, Indiana. You go 250 miles in any given direction, and you draw a circle around that. That's a cross-section of the country right there. And so that's part of what drew me there, and it's part of why I'm delivering the message that I think our party needs in order to revive our country.
And two of the guys I know that you've spoke about in the past, Jamison Carrier, who is running for the Greg Pence seat for a U.S. House race in District 6, and Jay Hart, who's running for, I believe, Indiana Senate in District number 37. Why did you decide to partner with some of these guys?
Look, I've endorsed candidates who I believe represent core America First principles. And I think in the case of Jamison, look, I think we need more outsiders in politics. He's not a politician. He's in this for a deeply personal reason for those who aren't aware. I mean, he's a guy who is sadly among countless parents across this country, among those who have lost a child to the fentanyl crisis in our country. And I think that's devastating. He doesn't have to be doing what he's doing, but he's doing it because he's an America First patriot. Others like, we can go straight down the list. We got a lot of good candidates across the board. Zay, Hart, Jim Banks, all people who I've endorsed and supported. I think these are people who agree with me on gutting the regulatory state, not just the incrementalism of, yes, having an R after your name and supporting all else equal, slightly conservative values, but being willing to go the distance to say that we have to gut bureaucracies when necessary, to say that incremental reform sometimes is not enough. People who understand that we are in a kind of war in this country between those of us who love the United States of America and a fringe minority who hates this country and what we stand for. And so for me, as an outsider to politics myself, I don't really care much if you just put an R or a D after your name. The question is, what principles do you actually stand for, and what sacrifices are you willing to make? All else equal, people who are outsiders to politics, or even if they came within politics, they're in it for the right reasons. Those are the kinds of people we need in Congress, in the Senate, and positions up and down the ballot in this country. And so those are some reasons why I've supported the few I'm supporting in Indiana.
We're speaking with former 2024 GOP presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy. Vivek, what do you see happening at college campuses across this country right now, from Columbia to UCLA to here at IU Bloomington, these pro-Hamas, anti-Israel demonstrations? What's really behind this?
So, look, I'll tell you what's really behind it is even more than anti-Semitism or some of the things we might have concerns with. It's something deeper than that.
Yes.
It's that young people are lost right now in this country. They are starving for direction and purpose and meaning. And that's at a moment when the things that used to fill that void, faith in God, patriotism, belief in country, hard work, those things have disappeared. And when you have that vacuum that runs that deep, that is when these other poisons fill the void. So you can pick your favorite one. I mean, first you have wokeism or transgenderism or COVIDism or climatism. Now anti-Semitism is the latest ism on the list. But I think these are just symptoms of that deeper void of purpose and meaning. And so I think we got to get to that root cause. We can't just criticize the behavior or try to address one particular issue. We have to get to the root cause and give young people, all people in this country right now, a reason to believe in themselves, to believe in something bigger than themselves, to believe in our country, which is a nation founded on ideals. We forget that sometimes. Our country wasn't just a geographic space. It was a country founded on a set of ideals that define our very essence as human beings, worthy of respect and dignity and freedom. And so that's what we need to revive. And what I do see on college campuses is that still is a fringe minority. Yes. And many of these protesters aren't even actually people who are the college students. Some of them are. But others are trained by professional activists. Others are just professional rabble-rousing activists themselves. Many of those young people, not the ones you see turning out in encampments, but many of them that you do see on those campuses are against what their peers are doing, but are hungry for an alternative that we as conservatives need to give them. We haven't done that yet, but I think we can.
And you're so right when you say it's a minority of students doing this kind of thing. And that's kind of like the way that it is on social media. It's a small group of people that get a little bit of backing that make the most noise. But for the most part, there have been some signs of hope coming out of these things, like the frat guys at North Carolina defending the flag, the folks down at LSU and Ole Miss, rallying around to support America. I love seeing that, man.
It's exactly what we need more of. I mean, I think that this is young people across the country. They are hungry to stand up for the right values that you and I care about. But the reality is it's just going to take conservatives showing up a little bit. I think that it's half the battle showing up. And so, college campuses haven't historically been places where conservatives have focused or Republican candidates going where young people are across the country. And I think if we're willing to just show up, I predict we're a domino effect, a tidal wave away from a change in the way that young people actually turn out to vote. It's just that we can't be scared of the very people we're trying to persuade.
Hey, Vivek, we'll let you go on this. I know you're not. I know you're backed up on time here. Does Joe Biden make it to the 2024 presidential election?
I genuinely don't know is the answer. I think there's still a reasonable chance he is not the nominee. I'm in the I would say in the minority view in our Republican movement on that, but I still think that there is a very good chance he is not the nominee. But in some sense, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
Because he's not really even the president.
Right.
He's a puppet for the managerial class underneath him, propped up as a puppet by that administrative state and the swamp that sits underneath him. And so we got to stop worrying about Biden or whoever else is on the other side and start worrying more about what we stand for.
Yep.
And that's why, look, you got the primary coming up. I think that it's important that people step up and vote in the primary. It's why I've gotten to know and tried to help candidates who I think are good. Carrier, Zay, Banks, others across the state who I think represent core values of the America First movement in this country. But it's not just going to be the president. It's going to be congressmen. It's going to be senators. It's going to be school board members. It's going to be parishioners. It's going to be people who are priests. It's going to be people who are leading parishes, people who are leading families. It's not just going to all be done through politics. Business owners. I think that's going to take everybody to play their role to bring this country back. And, you have my word. I'm going to play mine. Donald Trump's going to play his, but good candidates like those on the ballot tomorrow in Indiana are going to play theirs too. And so I encourage everybody to go out and vote.
2024 presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy. Vivek, thank you so much for your time, man. We appreciate you. We'd love to have you back sometime.
Thank you. Be my pleasure. Take care. Maybe see you at the Indy 500.
We'd love it.
Deal. Thanks, man.
Bye.
Matt Baer has a look at the roads.
All right, Hammer, east side, southbound 465, slow, east 56th Street, well past Penn Pike. That is a construction zone. Southbound 65, stop and go traffic from MLK to Meridian Penn, and eastbound 70, slow to downtown from West Street into the south split. Now eastbound 70 out of downtown on the east side, stop and go traffic from the north split to Rural Street. It's a crash. Keystone Avenue at East 30th Street as stop 11 at Railroad Road is closed. That intersection shut down because of a shooting investigation. Traffic sponsored by Mr. Quick Home Services. Attention, Indy homeowners. Is your cooling system ready for the heat? Don't sweat it. Mr. Quick Home Services has you covered with their special $89 cooling tune-up offer. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
If you would like to respond to anything you heard from Vivek Ramaswamy, hit us up on social media at Hammer and Nigel, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the YouTube chat. Just look for the Hammer and Nigel Show. We'd love to hear from you. Right now, 72 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. Are you okay with this? That's next.
The Voice of Health Minute with Dr. Robert Prather of Holistic Integration. What role does chiropractic play in gallbladder issues?
If you don't get that adjustment in there, it's very difficult to get the gallbladder under control. Oftentimes, the gallbladder will kick off the misalignment in T4 through T8, where it goes flat, dorsals go flat, shifts to the right, pain over in the scapula, and you do that adjustment and people get immediate digestion relief. If you just work with the gallbladder itself, you're not going to get that immediate relief unless you get that adjustment. That's one of the things that differentiates us from a lot of functional doctors is we do both the structure and the functional. As I've told many of my functional comrades, you need to get a good chiropractor in there to get the structural portion because you'll see your results increase by at least 50%.
The Voice of Health with Dr. Robert Prather, Sundays at 8 p.m. or anytime at thevoiceofhealthradio.com.
President Trump knows if you need backup to get a job done, you need a fighter. That's why President Trump is endorsing proven conservative combat veteran Jim Baird. Baird served our nation in the United States Army and was awarded the Purple Heart and Bronze with Valor Star. And when Baird got home, he didn't stop serving us. Jim Baird worked as a farmer and small business owner, creating jobs and growing our economy. Then Baird served Indiana as a state representative where he fought to safeguard our community. Now Baird is serving Hoosiers in Congress and will partner with President Trump to secure our border, build the wall, deport criminal illegal aliens, curb inflation, cut government spending, defend our God-given Second Amendment rights, and defeat the radical left. Help send President Trump the backup he needs to drain the swamp. Send Trump-endorsed conservative combat veteran Jim Baird for Congress.
I'm Jim Baird, and I approve this message. Paid for by elect Jim Baird for Congress.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Absolute Comfort. Chris Wedekin is the owner, and he tells us why many homeowners are giving up their air conditioners for a high-efficiency heat pump.
By removing your air conditioner and replacing it with a heat pump, you are not only saving by getting a higher efficiency air conditioner, the heat pump works in reverse and saves you money in the wintertime as well.
See if a heat pump is the right move for you by going to AbsoluteComfort.org. Absolute Comfort is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Building a better future for Hoosiers is going to take an outsider. Brad Chambers is the only candidate for governor who's not a career politician. And only Brad Chambers built a national business from nothing. As Secretary of Commerce, Brad Chambers broke records for job growth all across the state. Jobs with wages higher than ever before. Because of Brad Chambers, higher wages are on the way, and only Brad Chambers can keep them coming.
Paid for by Chambers for Indiana.
When you use Bounce dryer sheets and your clothes look amazing, it's the sheet. Less static in your life? Yeah, it's the sheet. Smelling fresher than ever? It's the sheet. Oh, so soft fabric? Ooh la la. It's the sheet. Less wrinkles on your clothes? You know it's the sheet. Bounce dryer sheets. More freshness, more softness. Less static, less wrinkles. It's the sheet.
Dents happen. There's a whole lot of stuff that can mess up the look of your vehicle. Don't paint your car. Go PDR with Kill a Dent Removal. PDR is paintless dent removal that saves your factory finish and is way less invasive than traditional body shop repairs. And it's faster too, sometimes same day. Google Kill a Dent Removal and check out the reviews and photos. Then schedule your repair. Hail baseballs, kids, fender benders, shopping carts, flying cows, angry X's, and anything else that leaves dents. Don't paint your car. Go PDR with Kill a Dent Removal.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
This week at Sullivan Hardware and Garden, get 30% off all patio furniture, wicker, Berlin Gardens, poly, cast aluminum, teak, and more.
Don't stress about plumbing repairs. Call L.D. Smith for honest advice and a free second opinion on any estimate.
L.D. Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by B&W Plumbing, HVAC, and Electrical, your American Standard air dealer.
Are you really okay with this?
Are you okay? Everything's gonna be okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm pretty far from okay.
Are you okay with this? On the Hammer and Nigel show.
Oh, yeah!
A school district in Ohio went on lockdown last week, Hammer, when Bigfoot was spotted walking around the campus.
Oh, no.
It was just a parent playing a prank, but prosecutors are reviewing it and may press charges.
It's Bigfoot!
Are you okay with prosecutors pressing charges on a parent playing a prank on campus?
So let me get this straight. During the Summer of Love, back in 2020, Bricks were going through windows. Fires were being started. And Kamala Harris and Justin Timberlake and Steve Carell and a number of celebrities were bailing them out.
Yes.
And a number of them didn't face any charges.
Right.
But a parent dressed up like Bigfoot just walking around a college campus to try to make the kids laugh, or I'm sorry, a school district, not a college campus, might be facing charges. No, I'm not okay with this. The thing is, if you want to dress up like Bigfoot and get away with it, you need to be in a city like Indianapolis, where the prosecutor never charges anybody with anything. That's where you need to go. You need to find a weak prosecutor like Ryan Mears. Then you can dress like Bigfoot. You could dress like the Grim Reaper. You can dress like whoever you want and walk around and do all kinds of wacky shenanigans. I'm fine with that, but I think it's a fun prank. I don't think anybody needs to be charged here. Come on.
A propaganda song released by Kim Jong-un of North Korea a couple of weeks ago has become a viral hit on TikTok. Again, Kim Jong-un, Fat Boy as you call him, of North Korea, released a song on TikTok, propaganda song. Here it is. Kim Jong-un has a viral hit on TikTok. Are you okay with this?
I'm very torn.
Okay. You've piqued my curiosity. How can you be torn?
On one hand, I'm going to say there was a little auto-tune involved there. I don't think that was actually Kim Jong-un on the vocals. Maybe it's one of those deals like the Jay Giles band where Jay Giles doesn't do the singing. It was Peter Wolf. Maybe this is Kim Jong-un's band, but he doesn't do the singing. It's those dancing girls. So I've got that on one side.
You just compared the Kim Jong-un propaganda song to the Jay Giles band?
Maybe. That's on one side. On the other side, I'm just thinking to myself, better than Nickelback. So I'm weighing out the pros and the cons here. And I'm kind of leaning toward Kim Jong-un's pop band. I think I'm okay with this because of all the propaganda things that Fat Boy could put out there. And keep in mind, he can put whatever he wants. The people of North Korea have no say in what they're seeing. Kim Jong-un could put out there a video of a beheading and say, tell your friends what you saw. If you get out of line, they'd have to watch it. But he's not doing that here. He's putting out a wacky song. Allison, hit me with it one more time. Can I get some Kim Jong-un and his dancing girls? Yeah!
I just retweeted it, so it's now, the music video is on our social on X, at Hammer and Nigel.
Now, I have not seen the video yet, but please tell me Kim Jong-un's dancing in it.
He's high-fiving people and hugging his officers. It's bad.
In my mind, I wanted it to be like the Chippendales video that Chris Farley did on Saturday Night Live next to Patrick Swayze. That's what I wanted to see Fat Boy up there doing.
You know, I went to the George Strait concert over the weekend with my wife. She's a super fan, celebrates his entire catalog. And she posed me with this question. If you had choice to go see front row seats to George Strait or Nickelback, what would it be? And without hesitation, I said Nickelback.
Okay.
She almost served me divorce papers right then and there.
If you had the chance to be front row for George Strait or front row for Kim Jong-un performing that song, where would you go?
I'm going with the king of country, bud. Oh, speaking of country music, real quick, Randy Travis, who recently, I don't know if recently had a stroke, but can't really talk or sing anymore. Randy Travis confirmed AI was used for his new song that came out Friday. It's called Where That Came From. It's his first song since his stroke in 2013. I mean, he doesn't have a voice anymore. Here are a couple of people in the song involved in making the song.
Being a part of new Randy Travis music, I mean, that's like, what?
It's not about how it sounds, it's about how it feels.
It's a life inspiration. Speak kindly, love fully, live completely, leave the rest to God.
But when she smiled,
AI, Randy Travis. She's not really singing.
Out came the sun.
Are you okay with this?
And
No, I'm not, because that's not really Randy Travis. It's not like it's old vocals of his that they found and they were trying to recycle it. It's the same thing I do when we have like AI Joe Hogshead or any one of the people that we have on the show that I make AI of. It's not the real person. So I don't think you can expect people to pay real money for fake Randy Travis. I don't think it works that way. And listen, Randy Travis, legend, hit machine, icon of country music. But whenever I think of Randy Travis, and I'm horrible for this, I admit, I think about that time he got arrested. He was driving drunk.
Nude, I believe.
He was naked, and he was like running around being, just a maniac and threatening police officers. So let's have some great moments in Randy Travis history. This was when the police officers were trying to tell other officers what to expect when they arrived on the scene to find a drunken, belligerent, naked Randy Travis.
I want to prepare you for something. The naked man sitting on the back of the fire truck? Randy Travis. Oh, no.
Never heard that before.
I want to prepare you for something.
I've heard this next audio. I've never heard that before.
And when he was taken into custody and he's naked and handcuffed in the back seat of the police cruiser, he's telling the officers he hopes they get cancer.
I pray to God that he will have a cancerous growth that it affects his bones and every part of his body.
And last but certainly not least, when the officers were checking on the well-being of a hammered, drunk Randy Travis, listen to his response.
Mr. Travis, you hit pretty hard over there.
I'm as fine as a damn dandy.
Great moments
What'd he say?
in Randy Travis
I'm as
history.
fine as a damn dandy?
I'm as fine as a damn dandy.
I just got to prepare yourself. That naked guy over there sitting on the side of the road, Randy Travis.
I'm sorry. I know we got to get to the news. Can I hear that one more time, please, Allison? The police officers telling other officers, get ready to see what you're seeing.
I want to prepare you for something. The naked man sitting on the back of the fire truck? Randy Travis. Oh, no.
Incredible.
Harrison Silcox has a look at the news.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Be prepared for some storms. Cloudy, 72 degrees in downtown Indianapolis. Nothing to worry about on a radar at the moment. Low of 62 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox for Lake City Bank. Here's what's trending at 5:30. Rain tomorrow morning could lead to severe weather Tuesday afternoon.
We're going to have more storms developing in the afternoon and evening tomorrow, and with that, all hazards are on the table. So large hail, damaging winds, and maybe even a few tornadoes.
Aaron Updike with the National Weather Service says more severe weather could follow Wednesday. Someone was shot and killed on the south side this afternoon near West Stop 11 and Railroad Roads. The victim pronounced dead at the scene. Police are out there investigating. A teenager's been charged in a Sunday carjacking in the north side of Indy. Donnie Burgess reports.
It was around 7 o'clock Sunday night when two teenagers asked for a ride. The driver and passenger said yes, but once the teenagers got inside, they pulled out guns, demanded the car, wallets, and phones, and took off. Indianapolis Metro Police were called and quickly tracked the car less than a mile away. The suspects did not stop for police and ended up crashing near a gas station. One teenager managed to run away, but the other, who is 16, was caught. He faces robbery charges on top of the other two warrants he already has in Marion County. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The Biden administration says they're warning Israel not to invade Rafah.
We cannot and we will not speak for IDF operations. But we've made clear our views about operations in Rafah that could potentially put more than 1 million innocent people at greater risk. During his call with Prime Minister Netanyahu, the president again made this clear.
U.S. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby. Hamas says they've agreed to a ceasefire proposed by Egypt and Qatar. Israel called that agreement unacceptable. Former President Donald Trump could spend some time in jail if he violates his gag order again in his hush money case in New York.
This judge has given me a gag order and said you'll go to jail if you violate it. And frankly, you know what? Our Constitution is much more important than jail. It's not even close. I'll do that sacrifice any day.
Trump has already been fined more than $9 grand for violating the order. He believes his freedom of speech is being limited. A deal between the city of Indianapolis and Keystone to build a new soccer stadium fell apart. Gary Dick with Inside Indiana Business explains where things may have gone wrong.
Apparently, at some point late in the negotiations or the talks, the demand was made by the city for Osimhen to guarantee an MLS team, which he certainly can't do at this point.
Talking about Indy 11 owner Ursula Özdemir with WIBC's Tony Katz, Mayor Hogshead announced last month a plan to try and bring an MLS club to Indianapolis. With traffic at 5:33, here's Matt Baer.
Yeah, Harrison, stay clear. Stop 11 Road at Railroad Road. That is on the south side, and they're investigating a shooting right now. Also, looking at 46 at Shadeland, that's a crash. Crash on the west side, 56 at Guyan Road, and a crash north of 70. It's Keystone Avenue at 30th. Crash on the south side, southbound of Meridian at Banther Road. On the north side, eastbound 465 slows after 865 to Michigan Road. Eastbound 465 stop and go from Keystone Avenue to Allisonville. Southbound 65 stop and go traffic MLK to the north split. Delay continues on eastbound 70 out to Rural. Traffic sponsored by Sullivan Hardware and Garden. This week at Sullivan Hardware and Garden to see their great selection of grills, Weber, Traeger, and Napoleon grills along with the Big Green Egg. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Mostly cloudy tonight with lows in the low 60s. Tuesday will be active with showers and storms in the mid to late morning hours going into early afternoon, then redevelopment in the afternoon nighttime hours with severe weather potential. All hazards are possible with highs in the upper 70s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Favorite Nigel show. Hello, my name is Nigel. That is Jason Hammer over there with a special guest on the hotline.
She is one half of the Chicks on the Right program. You know her, you love her. She has athletic thighs. It is Mock.
Yes, she does.
Macarena, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you.
So, campus protest. I read today that Columbia is canceling their graduation ceremony.
Good.
So, yeah, good. But at the same time, imagine being the parent of somebody that has nothing to do with this at Columbia.
You're right.
They've busted their ass for 4 years at an Ivy League school. They've spent so much freaking money. And there's a good chance their high school graduation was canceled with COVID. Because if you backtrack 4 years, there's a very good chance that happened. This totally sucks for these kids.
It does, and it was their decision to cancel it falls squarely on the shoulders of their president, who has been a complete wuss throughout this entire thing. She released some ridiculous video, I think it was over the weekend, where she was like, yeah, it's been really hard, and we've tried to have dialogue, and ultimately we had to, do some other thing. It's just all nonsense when every single college president should be taking a hint from Ben Sass at the University of Florida, who I do not like to compliment the University of Florida, by the way, but their president had it exactly right. He was like, we are not a daycare. You are going to be dealt with. Your freedom of speech ends when you start infringing on the rights of others, which you are clearly doing when you set up these ridiculous encampments and try to threaten other kids. And the Columbia president, has just been so weak. And so it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone that this is their decision. They could have just simply hired more security and made sure that it wasn't, that they didn't have to deal with protesters, but instead they just take the weak way out.
And you're so right about, getting put in a position to support somebody you don't like. This whole campus thing, like it's various points of these protests, I've been on the side of Al Sharpton. Now let that sink in just a little bit. Like Al Sharpton went on MSNBC and it's like, yeah, this is a bad look. And, we can't complain about January 6th if, we're going to applaud all of this, to which made Mika have her head spin all the way around like Beetlejuice. But you're so right. Whether it's those damn dirty Florida Gators, whether it's Al Sharpton, it's wild the way that this has played out.
Right? I mean, it's bad enough that we were already having to, fall in love with John Fetterman. But now Alex Sharpton?
And by the way, let me just say at the beginning of the segment, when you said Columbia was canceling their graduation ceremony, I said good. I meant kind of like what Mock said. This is the fault of the administration. I mean good in the fact that guys like Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, pulling his donations and funding from his alma mater because of the way they've acted. That's when I say good, that's what I meant, because it has been some pushback to these universities.
Yeah, well, and I hope that there's lots more pushback in the form of lawsuits, because to your point, Jason, if you are a kid who wants nothing to do with these a-holes that are causing all the disruption, you just went there because you thought you were going to get a kick-ass, education at one of the most prestigious universities, you should sue. Because you deserve to have a graduation. You've put in the time, you've put in the work, you already had your your high school graduation screwed up. Sue, and there should be a zillion lawsuits, and I hope there are.
Well, there are a few lawsuits here in Indiana. The ACLU of Indiana is filing a lawsuit, but they're filing a lawsuit on behalf of the protesters, Mock. The civil liberties of the protesters were violated when Indiana University told them to knock it off and sent the police in. So you're right, lawsuits are happening, but the ACLU has picked a side, and it's the side that loves Hamas.
Oh, my God, that's so disappointing. So disappointing, but not surprising considering it is the ACLU.
We are chatting with Mock from the Chicks on the Right program here on the Hammer and Nigel show. 2 Democrats have been criminally charged that currently serve in the House of Representatives.
Yeah, one of them for bribery.
2 criminally charged.
Wow.
Have you seen a big outcry of current Democrat members saying that they should resign and they have no business being in the House, Mock?
That's so weird. I haven't heard a word about that. It's just like they want to just brush everything under the rug. I will tell you that with how do you say his name? Is it Cuellar or Cuellar? I don't even know how to say it. The one that was most recently charged?
Yeah, I think it's Cuellar.
I just say Quaalude.
Well, you know what I immediately thought? This just shows how much of a cynic I've become. But he is the one Democrat in Texas who has been even somewhat critical of Joe Biden and on the illegal immigration issue. And I thought, man, I wonder if he's been framed, because he is the one Democrat that hasn't that hasn't taken Joe Biden's side. And then I was like, what am I saying? It's a Democrat. Of course he hasn't been framed. He totally did it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Republicans spent all that time jettisoning George Santos, one of their own, out of the House of Representatives, and it flipped his seat, I believe, to a blue seat. So
they had to look so, do-gooder to these lunatics on the left. And that's the thing that drives me nuts about some of these Republicans. I'm not saying George Santos wasn't a total zero. He was. Should he have been kicked out? Maybe. But the Republicans, they just want to sit at the cool kids table in the cafeteria, and they want to look like they're, just as progressive and doing the right things. The left on the other side, you got Jamal Bowman over here pulling fire alarms. You got 2 dudes criminally charged, and they're like, bite me.
Right. They have no moral. They have no shame. They have no shame. That's really what the Democrat Party is all about. When you think about just any issue, take any issues, especially one like abortion. It's not. They have no shame about things that are just probably the most evil things that you can imagine. They're absolutely shameless. So, I mean, we shouldn't be surprised that they're just going to let these 2 new, criminally charged Democrats just keep doing what they're doing. They're just not going to talk about it.
Right.
I mean, that's how they roll.
But am I a horrible person for thinking that the Republicans should do the same thing? Like, fight fire with fire. Being do-gooders is not getting you anywhere right now. It's getting your ass handed to you.
No, and you're absolutely right. And they should. When they do that, if they finally get the cojones to do it, when they do it, they should say exactly why they're doing it. And they should explain to Democrats, you know what? You're unwilling to have consequences for any of your misbehavior, so we're just going to follow suit. You want it to be this way? You got it. And that way people will know. It's not that Republicans have less integrity because, again, you're right. They got rid of George Santos. But they have to fight fire with fire. And we have always been way too nice.
Let's pivot now to the Trump criminal trial in Manhattan, the hush money trial with Stormy Daniels. They're threatening to throw Donald Trump in jail, the Democrat donating judge that's in the case. I mean, you talk about they're always saying Donald Trump is a threat to democracy, and on the other hand, you have them actively trying to incarcerate the guy that's running for president of the United States and silence him and violate his First Amendment rights. It's crazy what's happening in New York.
Well, this whole trial is such a scam. I mean, the whole thing is so utterly ludicrous. And the fact that the judge is now threatening jail time, oh, my gosh, if he wants to see a landslide, welcome to it. I mean, he's welcome to do it because that is, if anything is going to galvanize more support for Trump, it would be that.
You're right. And Nigel and I talked about this. I think even the Democrats that hate Donald Trump with the passion of a million fires, I think even they realize that if he goes behind bars for 5 minutes, you can kiss goodbye any chances of keeping power.
Yeah, and I mean the judge is trying to say, well, he's just leaving me no choice, and the fines aren't having the impact. Dude, he's a billionaire. Of course, $1,000 fine isn't going to have an impact. But you're certainly not going to try to jail the threat to the current president of the United States. I mean, that's complete interference. And everything that, people get sick and tired of Trump saying, oh, it's a witch hunt, it's election interference. But he's calling it exactly what it is, and they keep proving his point.
Mock, we're going to let you go on this one. I think by now a lot of people have seen the video of Joe Biden walking across the lawn near the White House. Did he poop his pants?
Man, I mean, if he didn't, he is doing a really, 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 really good imitation of someone who just did.
Right. Any parent who has had toddlers or kids before, they know that stance. They know what that stance is. And I can't tell you that I know for sure, but based off of my experience, I've raised 2 kids.
Yes.
That's a man that pooped his pants.
It definitely looks like it, and we should absolutely start that rumor.
I want that to be the first debate question. Like, if there's ever a debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, if he actually agrees to it, I want to see Kristen Welker of NBC in a very professional manner. Sir, there are questions about whether or not you dropped a load in your shorts. Can you confirm or deny that?
Oh, you should be the moderator.
Yeah. Oh, I would love it. Absolutely. I would sign up in a heartbeat.
Let's start a petition.
What's coming up at Chicks on the Right?
Well, probably more campus protest stuff, since that seems to be consuming the news for the last couple of weeks. So we'll be definitely talking about that. We also want to make sure that everybody checks out our interview with Dennis Prager that was just posted over the weekend. So it's on our YouTube channel for people to check out there.
Chicks on the Right, that is Mock. Mock, you're the best. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Business. It's all the things that keep this world turning. And behind every one of these companies is a partner helping to keep it all moving. It's why the local flower shop and your favorite pizza joint, the startup and the stadium, hospitals and hotels, banks and restaurants nationwide all choose the advanced network, cybersecurity solutions, and round-the-clock trusted partnership from Comcast Business, the company that powers more businesses than anyone else. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
See why Comcast Business powers more small businesses than anyone else. Get started with fast speeds and advanced security for $49 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract when you add 1 unlimited mobile line. Plus, ask how to get up to an $800 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Don't wait. Call to switch today. Ends 5/6/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 100 megabits per second internet and security edge. EcoBill and autopay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
Hoosiers have a choice on who they send to Washington and deserve to know the facts before voting. Jefferson Shreve caves to the radical left on our values and is a never-Trump moderate. Jamison Carrier, well, he filed for bankruptcy, owing thousands in tax liens, claims his primary residence is in Florida, voted there this last election. I'm Mike Speedy, and I approve this message. By the grace of God, I beat cancer, And with your help, we can beat these lying politicians and save America.
Mike Speedy is the only candidate who is both endorsed by Indiana Right to Life and is A+ rated by the NRA. Mike Speedy endorses President Trump and will join him to fix our border once and for all. Mike Speedy will fight the woke leftists to guarantee life and liberty. Speedy has a track record of fighting and winning. Vote Republican Mike Speedy in Indiana's 6th Congressional on or before May 7th. Paid for by Mike Speedy for Congress.
I'm Mike Speedy. I'm running for Congress, and I approve this message.
People everywhere are binge watching their money. Now streaming on Lake City Bank Digital. When checking Met Savings.
Together we make so much sense.
Also featuring The Day the Spending Stopped.
Sometimes saving money just feels so right.
And The Incredible Shrinking Debt.
Honey, come look. Our loan balance is so tiny.
Plus, Adventures of the Penny Pincher.
My journey has not been an easy one, but my budget is going to survive.
Watch new episodes of Your Money unfold every day. Now streaming on Lake City Bank Digital. Learn more at lakecitybank.com/digital. Member FDIC.
She isn't working for us, so who is Victoria Spartz working for in Congress? Victoria Spartz said she'd fight the radical left, but spoke in defense of the squad's Ilhan Omar and refused to officially condemn Rashida Tlaib after her hateful, anti-Semitic statements. While there's an invasion on our southern border, Spartz votes to send $40 billion of our tax dollars to Ukraine. Victoria Spartz also says she stands with President Trump. Truth is, Spartz stated it's irrelevant who the president is and helps the Biden administration pass their agenda. Chuck Goodrich is an America First conservative. Chuck built a business that hires and builds American, and Chuck voted to end sanctuary cities. Chuck puts our national defense first by banning any Chinese presence near our military and National Guard bases. Chuck Goodrich fights for our values, voting to protect female sports and keep biological males from competing against young women in Indiana. Vote Chuck Goodrich for Congress. Paid for by Go With Chuck Goodrich.
I'm Chuck Goodrich, a candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Hey, we all know about Jay's Lobster and Fish Market in the Garage Food Hall, Bottle Works District, downtown Indy. It's got the highly addictive lobster mac and cheese, but you also have to try their brand new hot honey fried lobster roll. It's delicious.
And how about Palavana Cubano, Indy's newest and best Cuban restaurant in Indy? It's also in the Garage Food Hall in the Bottle Works District, the best Cuban Reuben sandwich. It might be the best sandwich in Indy. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Attention Indy homeowners. Is your cooling system ready for the heat? Don't sweat it. Mr. Quick Home Services has you covered with their special $89 cooling tune-up offer.
Spring surprises? Fear not. B&W Plumbing, HVAC, and Electrical has you covered. Visit B+W.com/radio today. B&W is your trusted independent American Standard air dealer.
Matt Bear's got to look at the roads.
All right, Hammer, on the east side, southbound 465, still slow from Penn Pike 270 because of road construction. North side, eastbound 465, stop and go Westfield Boulevard past Keystone, and westbound 465, stop and go traffic from Meridian out to Ditch. This is a crash on the west side, 56 at Guyan Road. Traffic sponsored by Sullivan Hardware and Garden. This week at Sullivan Hardware and Gardens, you can see their great selection of grills. Weber Trigger and Napoleon Grills, along with the Big Green Egg. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for It's the Traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Right now, we've got 71 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
I didn't know Hall & Oates were on the outs.
Oh, yeah. There's a little bad blood now.
I mean, they've got tons. Rich Girl, Maneater, You Make My Dreams, Private Eyes. I Can't Go For That. I mean, I don't know. I don't know which one I'd put on their, the tombstone of Hall & Oates.
Wow, there's a lot of them.
They filed a lawsuit against each other in November after Oates attempted to sell some of their business ventures or something like that.
Right. So in the past, they've been partners, and it sounded like one person wanted to do business one way, another one said no. Now there's legal stuff.
And we actually have an exclusive interview now with Hall & Oates.
Hall & Oates, what's the reason for your breakup? Yes. Daryl Hall, what about getting back together with John Oates? John Oates, what do you have to say to Daryl? What if we asked you to get up on stage together? And what are your friends saying about reuniting? What else did you tell John? And John, what was your response to Daryl?
You're gone too far, 'cause you know it don't matter anyway.
How do you really feel?
I feel I can't go on.
One last question. What did you say to the lawyer who wrote up the breakup agreement?
Okay. There you go.
Exclusive interview there.
Hall & Oates.
Don't forget to check out the merchandise store, store.hammerandnigel.com. Get your month of May items ordered before May 8th, and you will have them before Carb Day. And we're giving away Carb Day tickets all week long here on the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Retirement. When you picture your retirement, what do you see? Travel, relaxation, hobbies, more time with the people you love? Or are you met with uncertainty and concern? Whatever emotion the word retirement conjures up for you, Howard Bailey Financial is